talkSPORT's Adrian Durham says it makes sense for both parties.
Harry Kane, when he was at Spurs, was absolutely desperate to win something with Spurs, a trophy with Spurs. Now, he's left, they've won a trophy, but if he wants to go back and win a trophy, I think that's one thing he'd love to tick off in his career.
Tottenham host Donny Rovers in the Carabao Cup tonight. We bring you Arsenal's trip to Port Vale live on talkSPORT from 7. Now, the Ekitike Red, silly rule or silly boy? Either way, former Red Danny Murphy reckons this reaction from Arne Slot is refreshing.
Needless, not smart. You call it stupid. I call it stupid, by the way, as well.
Ekitike now misses the Palace game. Murphy was asked if Ekitike was responding to Isak's arrival at Liverpool.
It felt that way. Like, I'll show you, look, here's my shirt, here's my name, it's about me, and...
You disappointed in him?
He's a young guy. He's emotional, it happens.
Next, it's reported Everton and Leeds have settled a PSR dispute related to Everton's breach in the 21-22 season. The clubs reached an agreement behind closed doors last season. And Boris Becker has told talkSPORT his sporting mentality helped him get through time in British jail.
I was most comfortable in the fifth set. I was most comfortable in a tie break. You know, when the going got tough, I thought that I was okay with it. And I think that mentality of surviving a difficult moment on the court, I think helped me a lot in prison.
You can watch the full interview with Boris Becker on the talkSPORT YouTube page.
talkSPORT News.
A man's been arrested by the National Crime Agency over a cyber attack that's affected airports across Europe at the weekend, and the Home Office is looking into claims taxis are being used to take asylum seekers to hospital appointments. There's more from the news team.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. Today it's raining tyres in our centres, including top-notch brands like Pirelli. Visit your local centre or quickfit.com and book today.
Mainly dry and sunny this afternoon, chance of showers in the south, breezy in some coastal areas.
This is Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs with you through until 4 here on talkSPORT, where this afternoon, Andy, please tell us what's coming up.
Well, coming up over the next 3 hours, Guillaume Balaguer joins us in the studio to discuss his new Access All Areas book on Villa. We're in Seville with Forest ahead of tonight's long-awaited return to Europe. And what would it actually take for Harry Kane to rejoin Spurs?
Yeah, we'll look at the different criteria that could see it happen or not. We also want your "what made me do that" Ekitike-like stories. And former super middleweight world champ George Groves pops in with his protege.
There's all this, plus we're back in New York to continue our Ryder Cup build-up, and actor and director of new NFL-themed movie Him, Tariq Withers and Justin Tipping, are here in the studio.
That's right, new NFL... And, yeah, it's quite an interesting film. So we'll tell you more about that later on. But it is 4 minutes past 1. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Andy. Well, you got there in the end, did Chelsea, against Lincoln City.
Oh, yes. What a
Now, one of the great...
game.
Some of the listeners may not know, long-term listeners will know this, that you don't just sit down and watch a game of football.
No.
You have your legendary notebook.
That's right.
With you, and you make notes as the game goes on.
Yeah.
And some of it's for this show, but to be honest, I think a lot of it is just therapy for you to be able to get down on paper the way you're feeling in that moment. I'm sure, a psychiatrist would have a field day with it. Well, didn't Frank said if Frank Skinner said if anybody got hold of Andy's, if somebody got hold of
in
Andy's,
front of Alan Jarrett in Toulouse.
really,
Yeah.
said if anybody got hold of Andy's book, he'd be sectioned.
He said, "Put it away." He said, "Put the book away." Don't want Alan thinking you're completely mad.
Fantastic.
Tremendous.
Under duress.
I know. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let's have. You're going to give us your notes.
Yes, I'll just go
In
through.
case you miss what happened, Chelsea made incredibly hard work of the first half, and they were 1-0 down. And then Maresca got stuck into them at half time, and they came out in better nick and got the job done 2-1 on the night.
Yeah, they showed a bit of class in that little section.
Yeah. So with that backdrop, what do your notes say, Andy? Let's have the
Okay.
I don't want unedited.
There's no swear. I never swear in the book. There's no point writing.
Don't you
down.
really? You
No.
swear all the time.
I know. I
Simply.
swear in real life. I don't swear in the book. It'd be a bit mad to actually swear in the book.
Well, tell me about it. Anyway, go on then. Keep going.
Okay, this is right from the word go. Neanderthal football start. Just booted it up in the air. They did like an up and under. Did you see the kickoff?
I didn't
They just
know.
went,
I watched 2 minutes of highlights. I'm not a Chelsea fan.
just a hideous way to play football. Horrible game plan. It's so
They're
boring
Lincoln
to
City,
watch.
Andy. They're a League One side playing against Chelsea. What do you expect them to do? Play ticker-tacker?
I would have liked that.
You're such a snob.
Commentator so desperate for Lincoln to win, I'm surprised he hasn't hired a nightclub to throw a party afterwards. And then I've written, cancel that nightclub after the second goal went in.
So you set up a premise that isn't true.
Yeah.
And then sort of troll your own premise that isn't
right,
true about a commentator.
Referee, get your card out. I mean, he just allowed them to physically bully us all over the
Such
pitch.
a snob, Lincoln fans. This
And then when he does get it out, it was a card for Andre Santos. Well done, mate.
yeah, okay.
Don't play it out from the back, I wrote before the goal.
So was this to Chelsea or to Lincoln? I thought you wanted them to play it out from the
Yeah,
back.
I wanted them to play out from the back, not Chelsea. Using AI for tactics is a crime against football.
Who did that?
Lincoln.
Oh, okay.
They use AI to study different throw-ins and, excuse me, and,
Okay.
and scientifically.
Right,
Honestly,
okay.
It really is a crime.
You seem to really have it in for League One, plucky League One Lincoln.
They weren't plucky. It was awful. It was scientifically awful. I've written here, it's not exactly PSG versus Barca, this, is it?
Well, it was never going to be because, I just remind you again, they're in League One.
I'm not suggesting any of this is rational. This is how,
No.
these are the emotions I go through.
Just the ramblings of a maniac.
Buonanotte is far too lightweight for English football.
Yeah.
He makes Brian Hill look like Roy Keane. And then he went and scored a good goal. Which
Yeah.
Then the commentator said, this is a performance to be proud of for Lincoln. I've written, how is this a performance to be proud of? It was like travelling back in time. I wanted us to lose.
Did you?
Well, that's what I've written.
You wanted Chelsea to lose.
I'm obviously really bitter at this point. This is when they've
Just
got
at
the
this
goal down.
point, like before, you haven't been really
We're giving
bitter.
gifts away at the moment. Every goal we concede. 3 defeats in 1 week. I was assuming we were going to lose.
Yeah.
Played well against
Why don't
the
you
better
just
team.
save yourself all this heart and just ring the sports bar?
One of the most pathetic being bullied performances I've ever seen. That was Chelsea in the first half. The referee was ridiculous. He allowed Lincoln to be too physical.
Okay.
I've accepted the season's over in terms of achieving anything.
It's like a letter to yourself.
I know.
This,
I have to say, I honestly don't care. Of course I care. It's ridiculous. My
I honestly don't care.
My
I've managed-
song for Jorgensen, they call him Flapper. It's
Well, look,
crazy.
the only highlights I watch were like 2 minutes of the Chelsea TV highlights, and the two commentators doing your in-house channel or whatever it was were saying, why does he keep coming for crosses and just missing them?
I know.
Stop coming for crosses. It sounded like you, but not as mad.
Because it was
obviously.
ridiculous.
There's more, is there?
Oh, yeah, no, only a little bit more.
Okay,
Lincoln
good.
aren't going to win the Carabao Cup, and neither are we. And there's no... I can't even read that. I've gone really mad there.
Yeah.
Oh, no merit.
Is that written in your own
No
blood?
merit in the victory. Anyone could beat Chelsea at the moment. 3 wingers up front, no striker. That game would have been perfect for Delap. Here you go.
Well, he's injured.
I know.
Yeah.
It's such a terrible competition. It's always been a pointless poor man's FA Cup.
Oh, he's turned on everybody.
I know. I used to be indifferent to winning it. I was actually. Chelsea would win it, and I think, oh, who cares?
Right.
Chelsea's quality, not even National League.
Oh, yeah, but blue square within 5 years.
Hato, I don't get it. I don't see anything. Actually played all right in the second half. Jorgensen and Sanchez don't even make up one keeper. He was hopeless. Oh, yeah, this was great. Why play it out to the touchline when the only way they can score is with a long throw-in? Brilliant.
Yeah.
Why have Liverpool got Mamadashvili as their second keeper and we've got Jorgensen? My final thought,
Okay.
these tactics are a hybrid of football and rugby with every scientific and cynical approach. It was beautifully executed, but personally, I prefer my football to be more about the goals that are scored and the run of Esteval from the halfway line with 3 men hanging on.
Yeah. Well, Lincoln are not in a position to sign one of the hottest prospects in world football in Esteval. They don't have that budget.
No,
so the manager has to make the very best of what he can.
They did very well. From that point of view, they did it really well.
Wow.
I'm not saying any of that makes any sense.
But honestly,
it's just what I go through when I'm watching it. I'm sure we're all the same, aren't we?
Are you quite scared by some of that?
No.
Yeah.
We all say mad stuff.
Just admit we gave you a proper game, Andy, says James from Lincoln. They did give you a proper game.
They did,
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But it was horrible. But yeah, they did.
You're a kind of football aesthete, aren't you? You like the beautiful game.
I do.
You're spoilt because you have the money to play the beautiful game.
Yeah.
Not
I don't particularly like tick-tack. I really enjoyed the way PSG played at the end of last season. That's how football should be played.
Michael Skubala hasn't got that kind of budget. So Ousmane Dembele
plays
Desiree Doué. You have to work with what you got.
Yes, I know.
Well done, Lincoln, I say. Well done. And commiserations. Commiserations to Saints as well. Although we had another. We saw that a couple of times with Southampton last season. You've seen the goals?
I've seen the goals.
I mean, Alex McCarthy made a couple of really good saves. And then they do
playing out from the back.
Play out from the back again and just hand Isak a goal.
Missed a great chance just before Liverpool scored as well. But, Liverpool were relentless, So I was mad by it.
Yeah, Ekatike, you've heard all this stuff. I mean,
that's why I like Arne Slot.
Yeah, so do I.
I do like his straight talking. He doesn't... Yeah. So many of them. I mean, Arteta doubling down again. Did you hear him this morning?
Yeah.
Saying, I've had other CEOs and directors and managers ring me up, coaches ring me up and tell you how brilliant we were. You think, hello?
Why is it bothering him? This is the question. He doesn't have to...
If it was so brilliant, you wouldn't have made 2 changes at half time. You got it wrong. No shame in that, but why don't you admit it?
Irrespective of that, why does he have to say, I've had lots of phone calls? I mean...
He's trying to prove it. He's trying to doubling down. He's trying to justify he's taken 1 point out of 6 against his 2 rivals with negative tactics, and he doesn't want to admit it.
He doesn't have to justify it, ultimately. It's his call. He should just say, that's the call I made. I'll live or die on that. We'll see what happens at the end of the season. It's obviously bothered him, hasn't it? To be saying stuff like that.
Yeah, because he's been criticised, that's why.
Anyway, here's another in a long line of fine Basque managers, including Unai Emery. And why is it? A bit like, we're going to talk to Guillaume Balaguer, who's joining us in the studio later on. He's written a weighty tome, A Rise of the Villains, inside Unai Emery's Aston Villa Revolution. A very interesting timing, of course.
Let's get this to Stan when we finish with it. He'd love it.
Yeah, Stan will definitely love it. We'll get a copy to him. It's kind of part story of Unai Emery, tells his kind of story, his rise. And part, through the Villa eyes. It's an very interesting read. And he's also sat down and had a chat with Ousmane Dembele, so we'll cover some of that. So, Guillaume Balaguer...
He said, why can't I play for Lincoln?
Yeah, he did.
His ambition.
That's right. Such a snob. Take the notice of him, Lincoln fans. He's bitter and twisted. You listen to those. He writes those notes. He goes home and writes those notes after he's done a day's work. Nuts. So... why did I do that? What made me do that is what we're looking for today. Did you have an Ekatike moment? You look back on, you think, I still, for the life of me, cannot think why, the equivalent of pulled my shirt off and got a second yellow for something so stupid. I mean, it was true what he said. He should have gone just straight to Chiesa and said, well done, mate, and patted him on the back rather than going nuts for the goal. I mean, obviously, he doesn't have the same attitude towards the Carabao Cup that you do, Andy, does he? It's a big deal for Hugo Ekatike.
He does, because he said, it's one thing if it had beaten 3 men and it was to win the semi-final of the Champions League, but, to go through against lower leg ambition, he's right.
Yeah.
He's absolutely right.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, let us know. talksport.com/H&J. Text to 81089, tweet to TSH&J. Thomas Frank has said, as I'm sure you're aware, that he would welcome the return of Harry Kane. So we're going to look at some of the criteria that would need to be in place for that to happen, the likelihood. We spoke to Rafi Honigstein, didn't we, a little while ago? And Raf said there is a bit of a feeling in Germany that, this could be his last season. So we're going to have a chat with Tom Allnut from the Times and Tottenham Way podcast and just look at some of the criteria that everything would have to, all the ducks in a row type thing. George Groves is back in the studio, Chelsea supporting former world super middleweight champion. Lucas Rohrig is his protege. He came in with Lucas, I think it was either before his first fight or just after his first fight. Subsequently, I think about 5 fights in, he's remained unbeaten, and he's a real prospect. So we're going to have a chat with George and Lucas. not George Lucas, obviously, when they join us in the studio, and Guillaume Balaguer. Yeah, we'll do a lot of Star Wars with them. Imagine just misreading that. Got a whole page of questions about Star Wars. And Guillaume Balaguer is going to join us for a good deep dive into his Villa book and other matters besides. That's all to come. It's Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs. We're good friends. Do you do what Andy does, by the way? Do you make notes? Do you watch football and make notes?
Unless you've got a radio show, why would you?
Well, I don't know, because that's honestly therapy. That's got nothing. You would do that unless you had a radio show, because you don't read them out normally on the show.
I don't normally read them out, but I'll try and read them.
I want to make that a regular feature. If you do the same thing, let us know. Are you as psychotic as Andy when it comes to watching your team? TalkSport, what do you do? The lengths you go to. TalkSport.com, text 81089, tweet TSH and J. We're here at Talk Station. Next stop, Talk Station.
Runs up, hits it right-footed. Harry Kane, history maker and record breaker.
I think there's a lot of Tottenham fans, including myself, who would like to see Kane back. He's a top player. I don't know what he's thinking. Myself, I'm a traveler. I like to explore things as well. So he's been here for many years. So why not enjoy the time at Bayern a little bit more? But he's welcome. If you want to join us, he's more than welcome.
He's got unfinished business at Spurs, no?
Apparently, we have a £54 million buyback clause. Harry Kane coming back to Tottenham Hotspur, the shirt sales, etc. That he'd probably cover most of that from commercial stuff.
Given an opportunity that he's going to score, you know, he's one of the best that we've seen for many, many years.
Being an all-time great at Spurs, I think he would be.
Put it back, Kane! Was there ever any doubt?
So there we are. Some talk. Excuse me.
I think he's been even better this season. He was absolutely brilliant against Chelsea last week. Superb, the way he was dropping deep, the way he took his chances.
Yeah.
You know, excellent play.
I think Spurs fans would like to see him back. I think maybe under the old regime that was very unlikely to happen. Here to discuss it, he's been discussing it on the Tottenham Way podcast because I was listening. Indeed, from the Times is Tom Allnut. Hello, Tom. Hey, Tom.
Ooh. Hi guys, how you doing? Thanks for the plug.
Oh, we're going to get you back on a slight. We're going to bit Sparky's Magic Piano. That's one for the teenagers. we're going to try and get Tom back on another line if we can. We're struggling a bit there, so we can have a chat about Harry Kane. I imagine they're saying the 54 million. I mean, it's the wages, of course. I'm sure once we do get Tom, he'll talk about
and
that.
Also the complete lack of resale value.
Yeah. I mean, it would be.
But on the other hand, you know, it'd be great.
Oh, yeah, of course he would. I don't doubt for a minute. You know, some people think, well, would he fit the system? You think, who cares?
Oh, he definitely fits.
I mean, the fact that the manager has said that, I don't think you'd have Ange being quite as, upfront about it as Thomas Frank was there. Basically, oh, yeah, I'd have him. I'd have him in my team.
He's still full of running. That's what impressed me last week.
We've got Tom back on the old tech. We got him on the phone. Hello, Tom.
Hi, guys. How's that?
That's
much better.
That's better in many ways. So, there's quite a lot. I'd say ducks that have to be in a row. I mean, say Majestic just said in that little trailer we played, just over 54 million buyback clause, but the wages are pretty astronomical. And under Daniel Levy, maybe you wouldn't have seen the club, as Andy said, signing a 33-year-old with no resale value for that kind of money and on that kind of money. But maybe under the slightly different regime now, it might be different.
Yeah, and I think there's a couple of things there, isn't there? Because obviously, you know, the new regime, you know, maybe they might want to make a sort of a statement, you know, and do better to bring back, you know, the sort of the old favourite, one of the greatest players the Spurs ever had, ultimately, isn't it? And also, I think, to be honest, I don't think it ended particularly well between Harry Kane and Daniel at the end. And, you know, it's fair to say that most transfers perhaps are like that, you know, one side or both sort of end up feeling slightly sort of bitter about it. But I don't think it was the smoothest exit. So perhaps, you know, Daniel Levy not being there may also kind of make it easier from an emotional point of view for Harry to come back. That said, you know, I think there's kind of two sides to it, isn't there? And I don't think either side is a certainty, because you've got to think that Harry Kane has kind of got used to winning trophies, hasn't he, at Bayern? And will he want to kind of continue that, you know, right to the end of his career? He's obviously always kept himself in great shape. He'll probably be thinking he can go on into his late 30s. Is he ready to come back to Spurs and to, you know, maybe not have that sort of guarantee of trophies every year, you know, when he's 33, when he feels like he's still got 3 or 4 years left at the top level? And equally, you know, does Thomas Frank think, you know, that he maybe wants a player who, you know, can press a little bit more, can be a bit more mobile as Kane kind of gets older? Will the injuries kind of creep up? So I think from both sides, it's not a certainty, but I think it's, you know, it's still clearly a possibility, isn't it?
I think a lot depends on what Bayern Munich do. I mean, you know, they're going to win the league. They always do, but virtually always do. But Champions League, I'm not sure. Although they beat Chelsea last week, you know, and Kane was kind of the difference between the teams. You know, Chelsea played quite well, and you think other teams will bother Bayern.
Yeah.
You know, will
I mean,
better than
as I say, when we spoke to Rafi Honigstein, there was a kind of sense that Bayern kind of half expecting that there could be this situation where he goes. But I take your point. He would love to break that Premier League record, of course. But what are his options? When you look at his options, you look at the business the top 5, top 6 teams have done. Do they necessarily need Harry Kane? Maybe that will be to Tottenham's advantage.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to kind of do the maths as well, haven't you, with the goals record? I'm sure maybe he's done it as well, you know, at home. He's kind of falling asleep, working out how many seasons he sort of needs. You know what, he's on 213, is it, by memory? And I think Shearer's on 260, so what he needs 47 goals, which, that's probably two or three good seasons for Kane, isn't it?
Yeah.
And as you get older, obviously, the guarantees sort of get less. So, he doesn't want to leave it too late, does he, I guess? And you're right, in terms of the options, do Man City want to sort of, sign a 34-year-old Kane? I'm not sure, especially if they have Haaland, clearly. It really only becomes an option if Haaland happens to leave, and he's obviously got that huge contract. Liverpool have basically signed every striker that everyone in the Premier League wanted, so they're pretty sorted. Arsenal, I don't think it's ever not going to be an option for Kane.
No.
Chelsea, I don't see it either. So you're looking at those kind of top 4 or 5 teams in England. I think if Kane wants to come back and he decides that he does, and I suspect he will at some point, then I think Spurs are clearly probably in the front running for him.
I mean, I think maybe he's a great family man and he might want to come back for that reason. But also, by the same token, I think they've enjoyed their experience of living abroad. I mean, the States would be an option. There'd be plenty of other options for him if he feels like he hasn't got those 3 seasons to get the record and he's maybe less hung up on it than we in the media are. I don't know. But he'd have other places he could go and play his football.
Or even Italy, we've
sure.
seen, haven't we, recently how, some of the Italian clubs are sort of bringing back that idea in the 90s of sort of having, slightly older players, who have been brilliant in their careers, but slightly towards the end, we've seen 3 or 4 players like that go there and do really well. Spain, we've seen Barcelona take Rashford, for example, on big wages, but again, it was a loan and we know their financial problems. I think Real Madrid are pretty overstocked already, kind of in the front 3. I mean, there are really only, 1 or 2, 3 clubs you might think Kane could get to. And that, it's a strange thing to say when you look at his kind of goal record. He's a guarantee, isn't he, for goals? But in terms of the wages and the age profile, and clearly, his style of play as well, I think as he gets older, that I think does become, more and more of a consideration. I would imagine, I agree with you. I think if Kane wants to leave Bayern and becomes clear in his mind for his personal life and also his professional life, I think he'll want to return to the Premier League and get after that record as soon as possible.
It's got to be Spurs. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, it's again, there's a lot of things wouldn't have to happen, but it's an interesting debate.
I suppose Manchester United, but they've got Sesko now, so I can't see that really.
Tom, thank you. Enjoy the game tonight. All the best.
Pleasure, guys. Thanks a lot.
Tom Allnutt there from the Times and the Tottenham Way podcast. Thanks to Tom. You can weigh in on that if you're a Spurs fan and you'd like to say whether you'd have Kane back or you wouldn't. Do let us know. TalkSport.com, text 81089, tweet to TSH&J.
Especially if you wouldn't. I think most fans would. And even Thomas Frank said,
for the manager
I would.
to say it. I mean, I do...
Of course, he can't say
no.
But, for him to say that, I think most...
But you kind of would have to... When someone's that good a finisher and that good a player and someone who links the play so well, you'd kind of have to accommodate them, wouldn't you, really?
Yeah.
And Tottenham haven't really got... I mean, with respect to Dominic Solanke, it's been a bit of an injury hit time. He's not been able. He was never likely to be able to be the new Harry Kane. The options they have beyond that are Tell and Richarlison.
Kolo Muani.
Well, yeah, who's never been injured in his career, Danny Kelly tells me, until he got to Spurs.
Is he injured now?
Oh yeah. He's got a dead leg.
Oh, but that's nothing.
He's missing tonight, so it's the second game that he could have played in that he's missing. But never gets injured. Anyway, it's Paul Hawksbee. George Grove's joining us and Lucas Rowerig in the studio. His protégés. Lucas fights at the weekend. We'll do a bit of Chelsea with George and other boxing matters besides, including Usyk getting involved in an online spat with Jake Paul. Don't lower yourself, mate. Really? Anyway, we'll talk about that in a minute.
Thomas Frank says Harry Kane is welcome back at Spurs anytime. It's reported there is a clause in Kane's Bayern contract allowing him to leave next summer. talkSPORT's Adrian Durham says it makes sense for both Spurs and Kane's ambition to break the Premier League scoring record.
Harry Kane was at Spurs, was absolutely desperate to win something with Spurs, a trophy with Spurs. Now, he's left, they've won a trophy, but if he wants to go back and win a trophy, I think that's one thing he'd love to tick off.
Tottenham host Doncaster in the Carabao Cup tonight. We've got Arsenal's trip to Port Vale live on talkSPORT from 7. Following last night's action, Danny Murphy's called this from Arne Slot refreshing.
Needless, not smart. You call it stupid. I call it stupid, by the way, as well.
Slot's annoyed with Ekitike's second yellow for taking his shirt off, celebrating his winner against Southampton. He'll now miss the Palace game. Danny was asked if Ekitike was responding to Isak's arrival at Liverpool.
I felt that way. Like, I'll show you, look, here's my shirt, here's my name, it's about me.
And Boris Becker's told talkSPORT his sporting mentality helped him get through time in jail.
I was most comfortable in the fifth set. I was most comfortable in a tie break. You know, when the going got tough, I thought that I was okay with it. And I think that mentality of surviving a difficult moment on the court, I think helped me a lot in prison.
You can watch the full interview with Boris Becker on the talkSPORT YouTube channel.
Good afternoon, Paul Hawksbee, Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. We're talking Villa later on, and Guillaume Balaguer, seasoned football writer and author, joining us in the studio to chat about his new book on Emery and Villa. An interesting time to chat about that. But we're turning to boxing now. George Groves and Lucas Rowe, his protege, came in a while back. We've just been trying to work out when. We wasn't sure whether it was before Lucas's first pro fight or just after his first pro fight. Since then, he's 5-0 with 2 knockouts. And it's going rather well. And both George and Lucas have joined us in the studio. Good to see you again, guys.
Good to see you too.
So it's just going all right, Lucas, isn't it? I mean, probably better than you ever imagined. I've watched a couple of fights back knowing you were coming. I saw one of your fights earlier this year where you stopped the guy in the second. So, yeah, some big knockouts, exciting times.
Yeah, you know, we're on a roll. Our plan was to be active, and I think that's something we've done. It's been actually my longest break in between fights. My last fight was in June, so I got itchy knuckles to get back out there, make it 6-0. And yeah, things are going well. Got, you know, the top man by my side, great manager, great trainer, and, you know, we're going through it.
George, is it kind of putting the brakes on Lucas a bit? He sounds like he's like raring to go, and he's fighting this weekend, and we'll come on to that. But is it like, because you've got the experience, you've been there, and it's like, okay, you know, slowly, we have to do it in a steady way. We have to incrementally build up to these bigger fights.
Yeah, I think so. Like, he's itching to go. He wants to progress. He wants these tough fights and hard fights. And then I've got to go, yeah, well, let's manage expectations a little bit. But then behind the scenes, I'm the same. I'm like, oh, no, I want to get going. Let's get going. So he follows the mantra that I believe in, is that if you're capable to have the, you know, be pushed, then be pushed. And, you know, he doesn't need a couple of years to learn his craft, settle in. He's already mixing it with some real good guys in the division in terms of in the gym, sparred some of the best guys out there. And, yeah, boxing is as much entertainment as it is sport. So you've got to make a name for yourself, and you do that through, you know, taking tough fights and putting in performances.
22 is young, though, for a boxer, isn't it? Boxers get better, don't they? You're nowhere near your peak.
No. Yeah, he's nowhere near his peak. Yeah. I think as usually on the weight divisions, the bigger the chap is, usually the later they will peak. So the smaller guys may be in their prime at 22 if you're a flyweight, but my old division, super middleweight, maybe your late 20s, 30s. Cruiserweight, sometimes they don't peak physically until they're in the 30s. But now's the time to, fine tune your craft, your skill set, your natural abilities, and then in terms of his physical maturing, that's still to come. So that's exciting for any trainer working with a fighter who he's only going to get better. Even if we don't do much, but we are doing a lot.
Lucas, I don't know how big a student you are of the game, but have you watched George's fights?
Of course.
Good.
Of course, I love watching boxing.
Any tips? What should he have done better?
No, I think he had an amazing career.
Yeah, those fights.
Was a great showman.
Yeah.
If you talk to just the average fan or actually a boxing fan, they'll say he was one of the most entertaining fighters.
Yeah.
His fighting style, risk it all. And, he had an amazing career. And if I can emulate that, even, 80-90%, then I'll be a very, very happy man.
George mentioned the people you've sparred with, Chris Billam-Smith among them, Badu Jack and Jai Opataya, which I imagine was an interesting experience. What did you kind of take from that? Well, what was it like?
You take a bit of, something different from each one. Like Opataya, he's a very intense champion. You can see, don't take no days off, trains extremely hard. Someone like Badu Jack, one of George's former opponents.
Yeah.
So it's like full circle where now I'm sparring him. You can see where he's a veteran, had a lot of skin in the game, fought a lot of different fighters, a lot of different styles. But where he's, old now, we say his athletic ability has kind of dipped. He has to use more of his veteran tactics, stuff like that. And, Chris Billam-Smith, another great champion, physically strong. And so to take a little bit of everything, I tried to pick their brain after sparring, ask them questions about, recovery days, what's your schedule like?
Yeah.
How many days a week do you train? How do you handle the pressure coming up to, a world title fight? And, they're all gentlemen and, even though they're in my division and, it's still that competitive aspect, they've been there, they've done that like George, so I'm able to gain that experience from them.
There must be an element of that, George, when they're sparring, thinking, I could be fighting him at some point. I mean, do you ask for feedback? Once they've sparred with Lucas, do you kind of sit down and say, okay, guys, what do you think?
I don't. Maybe I should, but I don't. I don't. You're sitting there and you're watching it and you're observing it, and you can usually tell by the friendliness or sometimes the hospitality or hostility after the spar.
Oh, right.
Sometimes you don't get invited back, guys. But for example, Jai Opataya and his team, he was trained by his dad, his father Tama, and I'm there. I'm a student as well now, in the training game. So I'm there to learn. I'm there. I'm picking their brains in terms of asking them questions, and they sort of, he sparred him once in London when he was over for a fight, and then we got invited out. We met him in Saudi, and it was fun because they took care of us. They brought us into their team. So
nice. And
you can imagine the Saudi setup. He was out. I think he was just out there as the Ring Magazine champion, Jai. But they took us to meet the camels, to ride the quad bikes, to shake their hands. So it was nice, it's lovely within boxing because I feel like it's evolved a little bit where you can get on with other people. But it doesn't need to be these camps who don't work with each other, don't get on. And it's only, a lot of the time, it's just me and Lucas in the gym. So we do appreciate travelling, going to other gyms, hanging out with other people.
You're fighting on our YouTube channel this weekend. Vladimir Belutsky on Saturday at the iconic York Hall in Bethnal Green in London. So what can you tell us about him, your opponent? You've been watching any videos or?
I mean, I know he's fought a couple British fighters such as Ben Whittaker, Carol Tuma. I think took them 8 rounds to get rid of him. And I believe we had a couple pullouts. So it was a bit worrying, are we going to be able to find a credible opponent? One with a winning record, one that's respected. So, George was able to do a good job where it was kind of last minute. to get a credible opponent, but more so just very excited. You know, got a lot of people coming out to York Hall Saturday, and even though I've had, you know, many amateur fights, had 5 pro fights now, I've never fought at York Hall.
Oh, wow.
So
it's great. Cool.
You know, it's a bit of the mecca of British boxing.
Yeah.
And very, very excited. Got a lot of people coming down, and it's going to be a great, great night.
Fantastic. And George, what's the sort of game plan then? He's going to be fighting at the weekend if all goes well. What have you got? Have you mapped out a route to a title fight?
Yeah, well, you know, I think it is really at this stage just sort of keeping him as busy as possible, and exposing him to as many experiences as possible. So yeah, this is that sort of York Hall, which is, as he says, the mecca of British boxing, of small hall boxing, even though we do have TV shows there. But if we can get him another couple before the end of the year, get him out to maybe 8-0 in 12 months, I think that's a great stand-in for him. And then we go from there. You know, his next fight after this will be moving up to 8-round contests. And then once you've done 8 rounds, you can do 10. If you've done 10, you can do 12. You know, so when the phone rings, if there's an opportunity for a title fight or something like that, then away we go. But cruiserweights are really exciting at the moment. You know, there's we've got Chris Billam-Smith and others at the top who maybe just in big fights, and we won't have them for much longer. But the likes of Alois Jr., Vidal Riley, there's a lot of good British fighters who are a little bit in front of Lucas. They've been pro a little bit longer, but he's not far behind them. So it's exciting that, you know, he maybe have a few rivals as he goes along. And they always make for the most
good, isn't it?
fun fights.
You wanted to mention James DeGale, didn't you?
Just some comments at James DeGale, he did a piece where I was on talkSPORT. He's been quite low profile, but he did appear on talkSPORT recently, and he's doing some bare knuckle fighting. And he talked about Ricky Hatton and how he's felt since the sort of tragic news came through about Ricky. And he was making the point, he said boxers need to be looked after. You retire from boxing after a lifetime of punches to the head and other things, he says, we learn about along the way. It's an emotional side of suddenly not being the world's most popular man anymore. And he talks a lot about the mental health struggles and how difficult it is to get out of fight. I just wondered how you coped when your career was ending. I mean, it is a difficult transition, I would guess, isn't it, physically and mentally?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you know, I retired at 30 and almost tried to make it my conscious decision to leave something on the table if it was, as it was. Like, I had, you know, options. There was potential big fights. There was potential world title fights. But I just thought, if I leave where I'm not chasing the game of boxing, then maybe that will be better for my mental health. And I'm fortunate enough to be busy and active and really enjoy my life in boxing after professional boxing, competing. But that's not the same for a lot of people. A lot of people, their careers are forced short through injury or sometimes just because the opportunities are not there. And sometimes it is a crisis of identity. You know, you are the fighter, you are the man in the arena, and then you're not. So what are you? And there's only so many school drop-offs. You know, pick the kids up and say what you've done today, and you go, nothing. You know, you need to have something to fill your time, fill your days. So I think, you know, I think it's shocking, and it's not what's happened to Ricky Hatton. And it's, if anything, it's just put a massive spotlight on.
Should there be more help then, you think? Do you agree with James? Should there be? I mean, there's the charitable trust, I think, is Ringside, who do great work, but there isn't really a PFA or a PCA that we see in other sports, in football and cricket. Should there be something a bit more like that for boxers?
Would you have like the Ex-Boxers Association? I don't know if there's any fighters out there. I implore them to get involved, because, you know, they're very excited when they get some new blood, because this is an organisation that's been around a long time, and they are there to take care of, you know, fighters who usually fall into health issues, physical health issues, but now we know the mental side of stuff is much more prevalent. And so, you know, if you can seek help, seek, you know, talk to your loved ones, talk to your friends. But it would be a great idea if the British Boxing Board of Control or someone, if they haven't already, maybe they have, just advise people throughout their career, not just at the end of their career.
Sure, yeah.
Like, it's tough. Boxing is a tough sport. You know, they say it's a lonely sport, but also any sport where you're manipulating your weight at times, you know, and the physical act of punching someone in the face and being punched in the face is highly emotional.
Sure, of course.
So we love it. We thrive within that arena, but then when that comes to a halt, maybe we don't know how to manage our emotions properly, and that could be one of the problems. But James, as you say, he's in the news this weekend. Sadly, I can't be there. He's fighting up in Manchester in a bare knuckle boxing match.
Yeah.
He's 39 years of age, and he's been retired maybe seven plus years.
Yeah.
He's decided he wants a piece of the pie. He wants to get back involved in boxing. Probably not as comfortable as I am talking for a living, or maybe even coaching, but he's decided to throw hands and gone down the bare knuckle boxing.
You won't be coming back then.
You're
enjoying
you
what
never
you're
say
doing.
never, but
Unless Jake Paul calls you out.
Jake Paul, I think I'm a bit big for him looking at Gervonta Davis.
I mean, Gervonta Davis is on a stepladder looking. Yeah. He's called out Usyk, and Usyk's come back at him and said, won't be long. I mean, why is it Usyk lowering himself? The greatest of great champions to have a row with Jake Paul.
Yeah, I don't know, but I think there was a lot of noses put out of joint when, maybe people in my situation who are ex-fighters who think, I could get the Jake Paul fight. And then turns out he's picked, the former lightweight champion in the world who's still boxing. It's like, because he's bounced from Joshua to this.
Yeah. Let's not give him any more of the oxygen of publicity.
I'd say so.
Lovely to see you, George.
Yes.
All the best, Lucas, at the weekend in your fight. We're going to bring you Boxing Friday night from the York Hall. Lerone Richards, the super middleweight in action. Then on Saturday, Lucas in action, our fine cruiserweight prospect. Then we will be over in New York for a BKB bare knuckle boxing event. This is all free to watch at Fight Sports this weekend, live on the talkSPORT Boxing YouTube channel. And just a reminder that DAZN brings you over 185 fights a year, an undisputed schedule featuring stars like Dave Allen, Joshua Barazzi, Jaron Ennis, Nathaniel Collins and more. Sign up now at DAZN.com/boxing.
Boxing update on talkSPORT with DAZN, the global home of boxing. Sign up now at DAZN.com/boxing.
Paul Hawksbee, Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. These are interesting times for Villa. They've been struggling to score goals and get points. There's been a change at the top with the sporting director Monchi leaving, Roberto Alave coming in. So what about the timing of a new book by the award-winning author Guillaume Balaguer, Spanish football expert? Inside Unai Emery's Aston Villa Revolution, Rise of the Villains. Guillaume joins us. Hi, Guillaume. Good to see you.
Hi, Paul. Hello, Andy.
Hi, Guillaume. It's a weighty tome.
It is a weighty tome.
Big font.
Yes, that's what you're saying. Like the sort of like Nan's print. Yeah.
But it really is two books in one. The first one I call The Lion, which is the story of Unai Emery, and the second one, The Pride, which is, could be the pride of the club or the pride of the people involved in the club, or a bunch of lions. And that's the story, a picture of Aston Villa right now.
Yeah. So it's been a weird start to the season. I mean, you spent a lot of time around the club writing this book. Have you been surprised by the way things have started this season?
I think everybody has, because obviously you come on the back of a year in which Champions League victory to Bayern Munich, to PSG. But at the same time, I think everybody warned, including Damien, Unai himself, but perhaps we didn't want to listen, that it was going to be a hard summer. And I think it's going to be a difficult season in the sense that everybody's got to reduce their expectations. We all know the limitations, financial limitations. Sure. What I find fascinating is, given what you've got, Unai, and the people around you, what is it you're going to do about it? And that's where it all starts moving and changing, and there's a new head of president of football operations and all that. And that has to do with, because of these limitations, is there anything else we can do, or can we do it in a different way? Roberto Alave, there's plenty in the book about him, because he's more of a, how can I put it? Don't want to say philosopher, because then they'll put a tag from him that people will hate. But he's somebody that's got the medium and long-term vision.
So does he work in a different way to Monchi?
Yeah, he does. He can still get you the players, but with Unai and him, it will be long conversations. You want to be at the first half an hour and then let them to it, because they will talk about, in depth, about where they are, where they need to go, profile of players. And I think you're going to have a contrast, an interesting one, between the now that Unai will demand and the yes, but where are we going that you'll get from Roberto Alave.
What was his relationship with Monchi like then?
Had it kind of, were there issues, you think, that's got us to this point?
I think, again, answers, you'll find them in the book, because Unai Emery and Monchi work together, and they're very intense, and they love each other, and they hate, and they shout, until they don't work with each other.
Okay.
And it gets to a point where it's like, right, okay, that's it.
Yeah.
And it happened at Sevilla. I know Unai tried, after Sevilla, Unai tried to get him at different clubs. It hadn't happened. It happened here. And I'm telling you, having been for a year there, quite close to everything that was going on, 2 years at Aston Villa is like 5 years at any other club.
Yeah.
So it seems to me it's the end of a cycle. And after 2 very difficult summers and 3 windows, especially the last 3, where honestly, and again, I go into detail on the personal side of things, people don't sleep. Damien, Monchi, Unai, they just don't sleep. They don't eat. They struggle with life and mixing with normal people and their families while they're trying to squeeze every single drop they can of the finances of Aston Villa.
ASRs are terrible.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's like having your hands tied behind you.
Well, look, they had to spend...
It's just not a level playing field.
No, it is an unfair system. But, the bottom line is that there is a system in place, and
they all voted for it.
They spent big on wages to bring players in to get them up to the level that saw them play Champions League.
While disrupting a little bit, because they're saying, okay, we're doing that, but would like to do something else because we do have the money, the means, the quality of people to actually do something else. So they trying to, like other clubs, trying to change the rules a little bit so it's a fairer situation.
Guillaume Balaguer's with us. We're going to just get the sports headlines, and Guillaume will be back. We're going to be chatting more about his book, Rise of the Villains, inside Unai Emery's Aston Villa Revolution. We'll talk a bit more about Emery, about the part of Spain he comes from, why it produces so many interesting managers, and also why did it not work at Arsenal the way generally it's worked at Villa. So more from Guillaume after the sports headlines. Continue talking Villa and more with Guillaume Balaguer after Ben Fletcher with the sports headlines.
talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van Range, helping business owners to work better and live better. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
Good afternoon. We're told there's more method than madness to Thomas Frank rolling out the red carpet for Harry Kane. The Spurs boss has made it clear to the England captain he's welcome back in North London anytime. talkSPORT's Adrian Durham could see it happening, but only if one particular condition is met.
He wants the best chance possible to win the Champions League. And you have to say, with respect to Spurs, the best chance for anyone doing that is at Bayern Munich. So I think there's a great chance this could happen because of the buyback clause. Why wouldn't you buy him back with his goal record? The fact that he wants to break that record, the Premier League record as well.
Spurs host Doncaster Rovers in the League Cup tonight here on talkSPORT. We bring you Arsenal's trip to Port Vale. Next, Hugo Ekitike has said sorry to Liverpool fans for his second yellow against Southampton last night. Arne Slot labelled him as stupid for taking his shirt off to celebrate the winner. On the blue half of Merseyside, David Moyes has tried to play down the significance of losing to Wolves after making 7 changes. Danny Murphy says the Everton boss should really have put a stronger team out.
4,000 Everton fans that went down there,
yes,
and paid their money. They were expecting to go through and see the best team play, and they didn't. So they've got every right to be fuming.
Everton host West Ham in the Premier League on Monday night, live on talkSPORT. And Boris Becker's told us exclusively he can only return to Wimbledon when he's allowed back in the country. He's still barred following a stretch in prison following a fraud case.
Working close with the Home Office and the Ministry of Justice just to give them enough reasons for me to come back. You know, I love London, I love Wimbledon. I think once I'm allowed back, I'm talking then with you know, the responsible people at the tournament.
You can watch the full interview with Boris Becker on the talkSPORT YouTube channel.
talkSPORT News.
Man's been arrested over a cyber attack that caused chaos at Heathrow and European airports, and the Home Office is looking into how taxis are being used to take asylum seekers to see doctors. There's more from the news team at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. With a huge range of premium brands available, we've got what you need to drive away happy every time. Visit your local centre or quickfit.com and book today.
Mainly dry and sunny throughout the afternoon. There's the chance of showers in the south, breezy in some coastal areas.
Yes, good afternoon. It is Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Author Guillaume Balaguer is with us in the studio. His new book is Rise of the Villains Inside Unai Emery's Aston Villa Revolution. We thought we'd go, I mean, as you said, half the book really is the kind of story of Emery, and part of that story is his time at Arsenal. So what's different now at Villa? I mean, they've had this difficult start, but there's enough credit, I would say, in the bank for most Villa fans to give him a chance.
It wasn't
to turn this
following
around.
Arsene Wenger for a start.
No, that's true. But that didn't help. But was it more than that, Guillaume?
Yeah, it was. And Aston Villa have to thank Arsenal and his time at Arsenal for what has happened, because he learned there that he needed to be protected, surrounded by people that understood the game the same way as him. He wanted to work with those people. It's an exchange of energy, of ideas, and a structure that worked. And I think he feels that some of the people that were at Arsenal weren't helping him either to succeed. So that includes Ozil, and that includes perhaps some other directors. So when you've got all that around you, it just doesn't work when some results don't go your way, because he was sacked soon after being in the Europa League final. So, you know, this is not just something to throw away. It's a big competition. But then the situation became so toxic that the only solution was really to leave. Some players stopped playing for him. As I said, some directors were happy to just...
He was sort of ridiculed. We talked about this off air. You know, the whole thing about good evening and all this, you know, people taking the mickey out. We probably did it too. You know, but it wasn't right. And
it was xenophobic. It was xenophobic.
Yeah.
It was xenophobic. And he heard his how he was being perceived in England. And then he got to a point where he turned it around and decided to do the copyright of Good Evening.
I think that's great.
That range of T-shirts, that's great.
But didn't do it at the end.
Yeah.
But at least he owned that word.
Yeah. Now, there's a structure in place, which he didn't have at Arsenal, he does have at Villa, which means a very big backroom team all working to make it happen for him. So is there a danger? I mean, I suppose it kind of future-proofs you to an extent, because if you want to get rid of the manager, you've got to get rid of the whole structure, because everything's built around working with him. So you're kind of all in when you're in that situation, as Villa are, aren't you?
The thing is, as well as you're right, he's the leader of the project, and he's the one who's chosen Roberto Olave, who he's very close to. But at the same time, they're trying to systemize the processes. So they've got 3 individual coaches. They've got nutrition. They've got this and that. So he goes, okay, maybe those people go with him, but you know that you're going to replace them with the best that you can find in that structure. So there is a structure in place. You will require, if he went, somebody with a lot of energy because they put so many hours into it. And then how that new manager, say, what methodology he uses will be completely up to him. There is a system. In the case of Unai, is analysis, and he prepares this 50-minute video, which takes him 8 to 12 hours, and he does it himself, and he does 3 a week. And the talk to the players is those 50 minutes of the video plus another 50 minutes of talking around the video, an hour and a half chats 3 times a week. So what happens, of course, is the people around him know how he works and they will support that. And the players that are there, 50% have gone. Why? Because there is a filter. They cannot go through all these analysis. But the ones that are there, they're very much up for it. That's how Morgan Rogers became good, through so much.
Yeah, he's having a funny season, but I'm sure he'll turn it around because he was great for England. The last day defeat at United was a really strange result because Chelsea, we were battling with them for that Champions League spot. You just felt that we'd go to Forest and lose and Villa would go to United and win, and it turned out to be the other way round, which is football. But it was a strange performance, wasn't it?
Yes.
I know they were unlucky with a goal that was disallowed that should never have been. But
important, very important. Changes a whole game.
Sure.
But at the same time, there were moments there that I hadn't seen in the whole year and the many years I've seen Unai when he starts looking at the distance and, you know, his head basically kind of exploded. And I'm not going to spoil the end of the book, but something happened in the changing room that day.
Oh, that's good.
That I think it paints a picture of the moment for certain.
Okay.
Now, you also talk in the book about the profile of the sort of managers from the part of the world, the Basque region where he comes from, and Arteta, Alonso, Iraola, Lopetegui.
So good.
Lots and lots of a bit like the, you know, Shankly, Ferguson, Steen, Busby, all coming within a couple of miles of each other. What is it about that region that shapes football managers, good football managers?
I spoke to all of them. I spoke to people that have taught them, and nobody has got an answer. Nobody knows.
Something in the water.
It's like, no, we're different. No, everybody. But then you start looking inside their behavior, how when they go to clubs, how they act, what they learn, and they are multi-sporting. So they do different sports. They respect the eldest a lot in that part of the world. They respect authority. So they always know that they part a cog in a machine. So they're just part of a machine. So they don't go in with big egos, but they know that they have to make the system function. There's a lot of respect for the people that work very hard, and they all work very hard, and all of them see football as a means to be happy. Say, not just success, to be happy. Because it's important for them, family, community, groups of friends. All that I've just said very, very quickly, but I've got like half a chapter dedicated to it because it's not normal, is it?
No.
That in the smallest province in Spain, you've got so much quality. And it must be something, and it's not the water.
You think
the food's great.
We have a theory on this show on Unai Emery, and why it's not going quite so well is that he's putting less product in his hair. On a Friday when he does his press conference, he's not put any gel on. He has quite bouffant hair, and he looks younger with it like that.
His mum,
he needs the full Dracula.
No, his mum doesn't like it. His mum keeps saying, "Why are you wearing that? You look like a right-wing politician." Right-wing politicians look like that in Spain.
Right, okay.
So he's like, oh, maybe I do. And then he's...
So that's why he's losing... Well, I think he may have to go back to the old product. More product in the hair means more points. You know him very well. You spent a lot of time with him writing this book and have been around the club. And you must be seeing a rising tension. That he's a bit of an outburst the other day talking about a lazy performance. He's clearly frustrated by what he's seeing. But do you doubt at all that he's the right man to get them out of this situation?
Because I've seen and analysed how he's come out of other crises, if you want to call it, or situations like this. I know he'll get it right. But what I find fascinating is the process of getting it right. What is he going to do? Because the things that he's been doing haven't fully worked. Reasons are multiple, and we touched on them. So what you do, you keep going and work harder, work longer hours. I mean, they already work like 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
So if it's not that, what is it that he's got to do to mould the reality to his will? Because he's managed to do that at Villa. As soon as he arrived, he goes like, well, that direction, and everybody went there. There was a point where the fans didn't get all this building from the back, especially losing against Arsenal and Leicester. And he went to the players in the changing room and says, you know what, I'm going to die with my boots on. Either we do it this way or I'm off. He did it this way. He succeeded. And now he finds himself at a time where, okay, I'm pushing that way, not fully working. What way should I do next? And I find that in football these days, fans especially, they want to know the end of the movie.
Yeah.
It's the now. It's like, would we be seventh, at the end of the season? Would he be there?
Football is changing, though, isn't it?
And it's evolving and it's constant. And
always,
I think the question people should ask is, what is he going to do now? And those that trust him wait for that moment where things turn around positively. And I'm waiting to see that. Winning against Bologna will be great. The Europa League, it will be exciting to be in Europe.
He's done really well in Europe.
Well, it could. I mean, we were talking to Darren Moore, who was having a bad time at Port Vale in the league. But it's been the League Cup that's kind of kicked them on, rather than it being a distraction. And, because of his record in Europa League, you wouldn't be at all surprised that that's a catalyst for a bit of a revival in the league.
Yeah, there was that semi-finals in the conference against Olympiacos, Conference League, where he prioritised the league because he saw the team really, really tired. That is an exception to the rule in his career. You're absolutely right. It's been 16 years going to Europe, every single year. And that will be the target this year, either by winning the Europa League or through the domestic league. But in any case, gives him something extra and gives everybody something extra. The Villa Park in European nights, now I know, having been there in every single one last year, is a special place.
Yeah. Just very quick one on an interview done for 442 with the Ballon d'Or winner Ousmane Dembele. It's been quite a story, hasn't it? From the big money move to Barca, then lots of questions about his attitude and his diet and lots of injuries. Then going to PSG and working with Luis Enrique and just kind of turning his career and his life around. It's a great story.
I asked him after winning the Ballon d'Or how important it is to find your place in the world, a place that respects you, that know what you are, that lets you deal with the difficult times in a way in which it's not like the end of the world. And he said exactly that. He's now at PSG at a place where they understood it. They waited for him to correct certain ways, had done that already previously, but in any case at PSG was like, okay, we want you to be, especially last year, the leader. Mbappe's not going. And then it's like, you just go for it when you got the ball, try to finish actions. And then the other thing they did to him, to his ear, every time they could, Ballon d'Or, Ballon d'Or, Ballon d'Or. So he had it in his mind that he could, that they believed in him, that they had the confidence in him. And the consequence of it, you can absolutely see now.
Although he won't give up burgers or pizza.
Nope.
He told you, didn't he?
Good man.
Not before the game, obviously, but after the game.
Half time.
We've all been recommended to not do so many pizzas, not so much pasta at night. But, we have to. We have to sometimes.
Cool.
Again, we wish you well with the book.
Thank you. Let me plug one thing.
Yeah.
15th of October, Wheaton Arms is the presentation of the book. I've got guests like Ian Taylor, Andy Townsend, James Chester, Petrov.
Oh, great.
And some of the people at the club, like the head of comms, head of cuisine, head of player liaison, because I want to give people the opportunity to understand how the club works behind the scenes. 15th of October.
And people can buy a book and you'll sign it for them, I tell you.
And then we'll sign books and whatever else they want us to
Lovely. Excellent.
Do you think Lincoln have got a head of cuisine?
Yes. Andy's turned on Lincoln because they gave Chelsea a rough ride last night. Guillaume, lovely to see you as always. Guillaume's book is called Rise of the Villains, Inside Unai Emery's Aston Villa Revolution. It's published by Ryan Books and is out now in hardback. Good to see you.
Thank you. Thank you, Andy.
Lots more to come this afternoon, including, we're talking golf, obviously, and we're going to tell you about a new NFL-themed Hollywood movie. We'll have the director and the star of the movie popping in to see us later. bit of live Oasis from the current tour, and some of the volunteers for the London Playing Fields Foundation have had the opportunity to go and see Oasis, and we are joined here to tell us more about that connection, the Chief Executive, Alex Welsh, and someone who's benefited from the work that London Playing Fields do, Jason Kelvin. Good afternoon, guys.
Hello. Hello.
Let's start out telling us about this tie-up with Oasis and how it came about.
We're sitting in the office, end of June, an email, can you give this person an urgent call? So immediately I think this must be a scam. We checked, it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was Marcus Russell, the chief executive of Igniting Music.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, the boys, that being Noel and Liam, been looking for a charity partner for their 7 concerts at Wembley, and they found London Playing Fields Foundation, and it was a fairy godmother moment for us.
So tell us about the work you do that kind of led them to you.
Well, we are a kind of facilitator of participation. The clubs, the leagues, and the teams are the purveyors of participation. When you collaborate, something magical can happen. And we like to think that playing fields and the activities that happen on them can transform and even save lives through innovation. And one of the most innovative things we've done over the years is a project called Coping Through Football, which uses the attraction of football and its therapeutic value to help seriously ill people who've got mental health conditions to get their lives back on track.
Yeah.
And one of the best examples of that is Jason is just a wonderful individual.
Well, Jason, it's kind of come full circle. It's come full circle because they're doing the 7 shows, 7 fields with Oasis.
Yeah.
And you were a stylist on lots of top magazines, one of which was The Face. There's a famous cover of the Face magazine with Liam on the front cover. You styled that. You said it was your granddad's cravat he's wearing there.
My granddad's cravat. Yeah, it is. And,
it's an iconic image,
so
though, isn't it?
You had this kind of great glamorous life, travelling around working on a magazine, but you had some mental health issues.
Well, that's just it, Paul. I mean, I just want to praise that with, and this isn't a sob story, but I'd had hopefully I'm a middle-aged man, and I hope that this might go out to people of my age, who men particularly, because I'm not arrogant enough to think this can go out to everyone. But this isn't a sob story. But I came from a very difficult childhood. There was abuse and stuff. This was the 70s and 80s. And I lost my dad when I was 12. But I got into the fashion and music industry, although I studied psychology at university. But and my love was, growing up in the east of London. West Ham was my team. Trevor Brickin, Alan Devonshire, Billy Bonds. I was a defender, so I was into Billy Bonds and Ray Stewart and Frank Lampard as senior.
Yeah.
Of course, the goalkeepers. We all love the goalkeepers.
Oh, yeah, I take it that's Alex is the keeper.
Yeah, but I got into fashion and style because that was a thing. The casualism of the 80s, the football terraces, the football, football style, and ended up doing The Face. Worked with the Oasis. Obviously, they have a love for football as well, and my career took off from there. But I was only 23, Paul, and because I didn't have that grounding, I didn't have a father figure. Things, it was 90s. It was good fun.
Yeah,
there was lots of partying.
But there was a price to pay.
There's a big price to pay. I had a breakdown. Terrible time, very dark time, isolated. Basically, that's the big thing, and this is what I want to say.
And I mean, you admit you were suicidal.
I was suicidal. I tried to take my life. Yeah,
wow.
I wasn't successful.
So coping with it was kind of prescribed to you, wasn't
it? Exactly. I went to see my GP numerous times. Saw therapists. They were just throwing me antidepressants or saying you've got 12 weeks to get well. You know what I mean? That sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then my doctor said, have you heard of this project called Coping Through Football? Yeah. I went, what? I said, I like football, but I've got a mental health problem. And she said, no, give it a go. And I didn't realise, but it was prescribed. It's a prescription. There was clinicians there, occupational therapists. And it was just a simple thing that I had been isolating for such a long time because I'm a man. And I like, you know, from the 70s, we men don't talk. And I just, and it was just so I'd isolated, and those thoughts, those
Is this
dark
coping
thoughts.
through playing football? Or
Yeah,
Just
absolutely.
Maybe a kind of community, I guess, Alex, as well.
Well, that's the first thing. Yeah. Sorry, Alex.
One of the things is a lot of people don't engage. When we were worried about the number of men who were killing themselves, what could we do? When we dug in deeper, we found that black men were 6.5 times more likely to be hospitalised due to poor mental health, would have the poorest outcomes. People would come to football. So coming to football, then we had North East London Foundation Trust, the NHS, and Leighton Orient Trust with the football coaching. And what the football became was a therapy.
Yeah.
And what we've been able to do is, through the sessions, is be able to revive all those things that the illness takes away from you. All this stuff that Jason's talking about, the isolation, lack of interactivity, lack of exercise, poor diet, smoking, etc., drinks. And so it's a kind of holistic approach.
Does it happen outside? Are there equivalents to what you do in different parts of the country?
Not many, because what we've got is a clinical governance to it. So it's a partnership approach. So it's an NHS service that we deliver with Leighton Orient. So it's 6 sessions a week, 50 weeks a year.
Wow.
And when we have our Christmas party, Harry Kane's mum and grandma come with aftershave and sweets and everything. And
That's nice.
Harry Kane Foundation have been brilliant with us.
You feel it saved your life?
100%. And it's genius in its simplicity, really, because it's just literally turning up. The women, of course, were invited as well, or anybody of any gender identity. But it was predominantly men, and it was literally turning up and being able to finally, let your hair down, burn off some adrenaline, get the endorphins racing.
Sure.
And then that really, for me personally, I can only speak for myself, but that allowed me to open up as well as a man. It's like, because I'm uptight beforehand, and then I burn off all that adrenaline, and afterwards we'd be going down to the cafe and talking, and it's literally that was as I say, the simplicity of it.
Wow.
And just and then repeat, rinse, repeat, and having a routine back in their life. And I need the routine, and I think a lot of people do.
Everybody
does. And so, whilst they might not be world-class footballers, what we provide them with is a world-class experience.
Yeah.
So the coaches are really working hard to restore their confidence, bolster their self-esteem, so they can get through the rest of the week.
Yeah.
And so they're ready to come back next week.
And your volunteers have been rewarded with a chance to go and see Oasis in these London shows.
Yeah, without our volunteers at Grassroots Sport, it just wouldn't exist. So this is a great opportunity and outstanding generosity from the Oasis team to give us this chance. And we've also had a prize draw, which has been brilliant, because we can't rely as a charity on council tax revenues. We've got a gala dinner at the Savoy in November, which is vitally important to us. And we have to think of other ways in which we can subsidise our kind of work. So when Marcus got in touch with us, it's just been transformational, and their generosity has just been outstanding. It's been really moving, to be fair. And we've got the last show on Sunday, and they've just been brilliant. And I just want to thank Liam and Noel for picking us, and hopefully we haven't let them down with all the football and everything else that we do.
Hopefully they're listening, because Noel
listens to talkSPORT a lot.
Oh, does he?
I'm sure he'll be chuffed.
Well, he'd be pleased the draw made 48,880.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's really
fantastic.
Good. You can find out more at the LPFF on social media. Oasis have been talking about it, and it's 7 shows, 7 fields, the hashtag, if you want to go and check that. We'll keep doing what you're doing. Alex was a living proof, Jason, that it does.
And I've gone on to coach myself.
Oh, it's brilliant.
Yeah, so I'm at Arsenal. So I don't know. I'm not there anymore, but I worked in the community department for
Excellent.
Arsenal.
Brilliant.
So,
well, it's lovely to see you both.
Yeah.
And well done to Liam and Noel and Oasis management
absolutely.
once again. Fantastic. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Alex Welsh there from London Playing Fields Foundation, and Jason Kelvin. It's Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT, and we're going to be chatting to 2 guests in the studio very shortly. Are involved in a really interesting movie with NFL as its backdrop. I'll give you a flavour of that and talk more very shortly.
Thomas Frank says Harry Kane is welcome back at Spurs anytime. It's reported there is a clause in Kane's Bayern contract allowing him to leave next summer. talkSPORT's Adrian Durham says it makes sense for both Spurs and Kane's ambition to break the Premier League scoring record.
Harry Kane, when he was at Spurs, was absolutely desperate to win something with Spurs, a trophy with Spurs. Now, he's left, they've won a trophy, but if he wants to go back and win a trophy, I think that's one thing he'd love to tick off.
Tottenham host Doncaster in the Carabao Cup tonight. We've got Arsenal's trip to Port Vale live on talkSPORT from 7. Following last night's action, Danny Murphy's called this from Arne Slot refreshing.
Needless, not smart. You call it stupid. I call it stupid, by the way, as well.
Slot's annoyed with Ekitike's second yellow for taking his shirt off, celebrating his winner against Southampton. He'll now miss the Palace game. Danny was asked if Ekitike was responding to Isak's arrival at Liverpool.
Felt that way. Like, I'll show you, look, here's my shirt, here's my name, it's about me.
And Boris Becker's told talkSPORT his sporting mentality helped him get through time in jail.
I was most comfortable in the fifth set. I was most comfortable in a tie break. You know, when the going got tough, I thought that I was okay with it. And I think that mentality of surviving a difficult moment on the court, I think helped me a lot in prison.
You can watch the full interview with Boris Becker on the talkSPORT YouTube channel.
Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Now, we talk about a lot of sports movies on this film, but I don't really want to call this a sports movie. Sport is involved.
Sport-based.
Sport-based. But there's a lot more to it than that. We're going to give you a flavour of it now before we chat to the director, co-writer, and indeed one of the stars of the movie. But let's give you a flavour of it now. It's called Him.
Cameron King. Great meeting you. I'm a fan. That's crazy. I damn near worship you growing up.
Who are you?
I'm him.
Who are you?
I'm him. My time. Let's play a little catch.
We going to the league!
You want to play at your highest level? You want to be a legend? Because let me tell you something. This ain't a game.
Well, there we are. That gives you a flavour of what's going on. If you were watching on YouTube or on Connect TV, you would have seen that unfold. Justin Timberlake directed it, co-wrote it, and Tyreek Withers is one of the stars. Good to see you guys.
Thank you for having us.
For coming in.
Yeah. Thank you.
Is this an original movie screenplay, or has it come from a book, Justin? How did it all come?
No, this is original. This is an original idea that started off with Zach and Skip's script, and then I came aboard as a writer-director, and with Jordan Peele producing in Universal Studios, we made it what it is today.
Yeah. It's I'm interested to see what the NFL make of it, because it's not particularly complimentary, Tyreek, is it, on the game?
Yeah, I think it's it's an insight into athletes chasing the greatness and what you're willing to put your body through, and I think that's a testament to all types of sports and not just football. So I think it transcends the sport, the league of NFL, if you will. But yeah, specifically, I come from the sport of football, so I can really attest to, the physical, the mental, psychological, obstacles that it took to, get to that next level. I played at college, as you all put it, uni and whatnot. So yeah, it was a cathartic experience getting to explore those themes in this movie and whatnot.
Did you ever consider maybe trying to get in the majors to try and play football? Or
Yeah, I played soccer, as we say in the States, but football, that was my first love, and this was his first love, soccer as well.
Oh, okay.
So,
Did you follow teams, guys, from the soccer? You follow any Premier League teams? Or
who's your favorite?
Well, I'm a Tottenham fan, but he's a Chelsea fan.
Oh, gotcha. Well, I like Harry Kane, so.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so do I. Certainly, if he comes back next year, I like him even more. What about you, Tyreek? Do you follow a Premier League team?
I don't follow a Premier League team, but if I had to pick, I'm sorry, I'd say Arsenal.
Oh, well.
So.
Well, thanks for coming in.
The sport itself is a very visceral thing, and some of the scenes in the film are, almost.
Well, that technique, Justin, of when you show the clashes and the
Right.
head clashes, you kind of go into X-ray mode, and it's almost like you're saying, this is the kind of one-on-one damage that this can cause.
Yeah, I think that what spectators, if there's no blood involved, the layman person will just be like, well, they're fine, just keep going.
Yeah.
So if you don't see the ligaments, you don't see the muscles. This was the way to show what you can't see. So the ability to see neurons, turning off and everything that's happening in the collisions and what that causes was just to really make the spectator, the audience, understand what it does feel like and put them in that emotional state.
Are you a gridiron fan? Are you a football fan?
Yeah, I grew up, going to Oakland Raiders games and getting rowdy. I wouldn't say I was a diehard fan.
Yeah.
But there's, family would get together and watch the games. And
I mean, the film is much more than just a critique of
Have we had the synopsis of the actual story of the film? So,
well, I mean, I think that we should talk about that because, funny enough, Marlon Wayans came in and saw us a couple of years back. He had another movie out. I mean, you know him for lots of great comedy work, so he must have loved getting his teeth into this because the character he plays, which we saw a little bit of the trailer, Isaiah White was a top player that was idolised by your character Cam, who then their kind of paths cross. I won't go into too much detail about how that happens, but you end up almost in his lair.
Yeah.
You're in his in his compound, and he kind of takes you under his wing to try and put your career back on track again. But it was a great. I would imagine he would have loved the part, Justin, because he can really get his, because he's quite a character, isn't he?
He is. Yeah. He is. And he just I think he's known in the space too is for the parody. So I think this is going to be able to showcase the other darker, more dramatic side that audiences don't know him or as. And he is really just like taming the beast, You just got to direct the chaos and make it good chaos, not where is he always just like having a stand-up set in the craft services with the crew. That's all it is. But he is who he is, and that's why he's goated.
It must have been great for you to work with him as well, I would imagine, Tyreek.
Yeah.
Lots of scenes with him.
Yeah, I think this movie completely subverts the audience's expectations with what you get with this comedy and, him coming from the iconic parody and stand-up. But I think there's a certain level of darkness you have to go through to be a light like that. And I think on and off set, he cracked jokes and he really took me under his wing. And, I think the hardest part for me, I did this movie with 3 stand-up comedians. You had Marlon Wayans, you had Jim Jeffries, and then Tim Heidecker. He does a bit comedy. But, 3 stand-up comedians, I think the funniest one was Julia Fox. So
she was.
Yeah, she was the funniest one.
They weren't getting method then. They wouldn't stay kind of in character all the way. They once you said cut, they were joking around again, were they?
Yeah. I think that's a lot of me and Marlon's bonding, and we didn't live in the intense world of it all.
So I mean, how, you say you played? Do you have to get in? You were in good shape anyway, I take it, to do this movie.
Well,
what about also sort of shooting football stuff, shooting any sport stuff? To make
it can be tricky.
Can be tricky because if you're a fan of a sport, you'll kind of see it doesn't quite work. So there's a real responsibility when you're shooting that sort of stuff, isn't it?
Yeah. I think coming from sports, we both had a level of integrity and respect for it.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to bring the character to life, and so I took training really serious, both in the gym. I had a bird chest before, signing up for this film, and I had to really lock in like 6 days a week, twice a day, and then train to be a quarterback because the position I played in college was a wide receiver, and you catch the ball. So I had to learn how to throw like a quarterback, and I think first day I threw my arm out. So I threw my arm out. So any type of throwing scene, I was in actual like physical pain. But I think that added a layer of
it's
intensity.
probably reality, isn't it?
Yeah. It's when art imitates reality, and I think that's the beautiful thing about this film is there's a level of method I had to go tap into to bring this character.
But no, like he throws the ball in every scene.
Yeah,
there's not a single thing that's not him throwing, and he did train with some of the best.
Did occasionally while they were setting up a shot. I mean, Andy and I used to work on a TV show where we did these kind of. It was called Phoenix from the Flames, and we get a chance to play soccer with these great old soccer players in between shots when we were making this TV show. So was there little pickup games going on now and again between shots?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I would say in between.
If there's a football sitting there, you're going to play, aren't you?
Yeah. I think there was an Albuquerque professional team that was on set, and so we got to play in between takes. But also the best quarterback on set was Justin Tipping. I couldn't do something. He'd be like, "Oh, let me try," and he'll throw a perfect spiral at the target and hit it. And that was humbling. But yeah, it was cool to have that.
Have you had? We mentioned that it's not particularly. I mean, look, it's much more. It's not a football movie. There's much more to it than that. But have you had any reaction from the NFL at all yet to the movie?
I don't know.
Okay.
And anybody? No, I have no idea.
No.
I won't imagine they will. They're quite protective, and
Yeah, but as we said, it's a different movie to that. But there's an element of kind of asking questions about the NFL and the way people come into the system and are kind of slightly chewed up by the system as well.
Yeah, there's definitely inherent. It's like I came at this just holding a mirror up. Everything about the NFL, it's already been written. It's already been about whatever you want to call it. So the fun was really in how do we shoot it, how do we lens it, and let the audience drive the meaning.
So it's out now, I take it. Is it in cinemas in the UK now?
October 3rd.
October 3rd.
Soon.
Okay, you can go and check out the trailer online. But we wish you well with it, guys. Thank you very much for coming in. Tyreek Withers.
Go Spurs.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, you've changed your tune. So there are Tyreek Withers and Justin Tippin, the guys behind the new movie Him. It's Paul Hawksbee and Andy Jacobs here on talkSPORT. Lots more to come between now and 4. Of course, we're here with Tool Station. Stay one step ahead, whatever the job. Next up, Tool Station.
We understand that it's going to be a big challenge, but I'm very excited about my team, the form we have coming into this.
Please make some noise for the winners of the 2023 Ryder Cup, led on by their captain, Luke Donald. It's Team USA!
You can go wherever you want with all the detail. The bottom line is, can the players perform in a hostile environment?
And Europe has pulled off the improbable. The lone miracle of Medina.
Making the team is not the trophy. You know, it's not a participation award. It's a nice thing to say you've done, but really, when you represent your team, you want to be able to win the thing.
I catch myself every now and then looking down the fairway, seeing the guys walk down the fairway and think how badly I'd want to do that. But I feel like I've been called for a bigger cause here.
If you have those experiences that you remember for the rest of your life, that's worth more than a couple $100,000 in the back of your pocket.
Yes, not long now till the Ryder Cup gets underway. Our own Rupert Bell, Sean O'Brien are out there to bring us coverage here on talkSPORT. We've talked a lot about the Europeans. An opportunity now to talk about the USA team with the seasoned American golf writer Alex Myers. Hi, Alex.
Hey, how's it going?
We're good, thank you. We heard that Luke Donald had handed out VR headsets to our guys to try and get them used to the raucous nature of Bethpage Black. And a very different approach by Keegan Bradley. Brought in a firefighter, the son of another firefighter who died on 9/11. And well, they bonded over golf when the boy was young. And he spoke to the players, and apparently they very emotional conversation and address that he gave to the players that really affected them.
Yeah, I mean, Keegan Bradley has left no stones unturned here, following some of the great stuff that the European captains have done, including Luke Donald. He's, tapping into kind of the local angle. Obviously, Keegan knows the local angle as well as anyone, having played down the road at St. John's in college here. But yeah, he brought in Chris Muscali, lieutenant with the FDNY, had a horrific experience, obviously, around 9/11. He was a great junior golfer at the time, so he's a big golfer. And Keegan met him at an event last year and came up with the idea to have him, give a talk to the team if he was up for it. And he was, and he gave an incredible talk to the team, kind of firing them up and, trying to build a sense of unity, not only around them, but to kind of be playing for the city, for the country, and all that stuff. So the week got off to a great start for Team USA. And again, I can't say it enough. The Europeans have done so many great things like this in the past, kind of, trying to connect to the past and former players and all that. And it looks like the U.S. has finally gotten on board with doing some of that stuff, and we'll see if it pays off for them this week.
Yeah, because golf is such an individual sport. They're just not used to being in a team, are they, these guys? And except when they play the Ryder Cup. What about Bryson DeChambeau, though? We're hearing, I don't think he's played for about 5 weeks, and there's quite a lot of pressure on him, isn't there? He's also not the most popular guy amongst some of the players, so it might be interesting to see how he goes this week.
Well, yeah, it is interesting. And obviously, Brandel Chambly caused a little stir the other night when he called Bryson a, quote, captain's nightmare. I think he was more talking about, who do you pair him with and that kind of stuff. I mean, Bryson is all in on this event. He was upset not to make it a couple years ago. He wanted to play in the event, the PGA Tour event in Napa a couple weeks ago, which the rest of Team USA did play in, other than Xander Schauffele, who had just had the birth of his first child. So Bryson wanted to play in that event. The PGA Tour didn't let him. I understand both sides there, but he is all in on this team. And it was nice to see, at least if you're rooting for Team USA, his teammates kind of step up for him yesterday and reply to those Brandel Chambly comments and really have his back. So we'll see what happens. I've heard maybe a Cam Young pairing with Bryson, and Cam Young's a New Yorker. So that would be an incredibly popular duo if they went out. And for anyone who plays against Bryson, you kind of have to feel for it because he is going to have the biggest crowd. I mean, he's the biggest star right now in golf. I hate to say it. He's not the best player, but he's probably the biggest star. And he's going to have incredible crowd support this week. And it looks like he has support from his team as well.
The US team have taken a bit of heat for asking for money to play in the Ryder Cup, but we're subsequently hearing
going to give it all.
Practically everybody's giving it away to charity. There'll be so much peer pressure. I would imagine by the end of it, all of them will, including Patrick Cantley, who started all this off by not wearing his hat in Rome.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's funny because they have always gotten something towards a charity, and now they're getting a stipend that doesn't have to be used towards charity. But like you mentioned, it seems like a lot of the guys are when they're pressed on it. Keegan and others have said, even Patrick Cantley has said he's going to use it. Scotty Scheffler as well. They haven't given details, but it's an interesting thing. I don't think it's really going to make that big of a deal, especially since they're not. It seems like most of the guys aren't pocketing the money, so they're still not playing for money, I don't think. And again, it's a couple $100,000, which obviously to us normal folk is a big deal, but to these guys, it's really not that big of a deal. Nice. So I don't think it makes a huge difference one way or the other. And frankly, I do think the players deserve something. I mean, they're who everyone comes to see here, and this event makes a ton of money for the PGA of America, and obviously on the European side as well when it goes to Europe.
Do you think the weather will be a factor? Because they brought the opening ceremony forward, and I was looking at an American weather forecast, and the weather does look quite fierce, stormy and windy.
It's dreadful for tomorrow, but luckily the event does not start tomorrow. It starts Friday. This is the 1 week where all golf fans really are upset that it doesn't start till Friday. But in this week, it's actually, hopefully, fingers crossed, going to work out because, I think it looks like about 1.5 inches of rain tomorrow, another 1/2 inch today. So that is going to affect the course, and it is going to affect, for people who do come on Friday and for the event over the weekend, it's going to be a slog getting around here. It's not going to smell good. It's not going to feel good walking around. I think it's going to make the course play a lot softer, obviously, but at least it's not going to, I don't think, interfere too much with the actual play. It won't keep people off the grounds from Friday going forward. But the opening ceremony had to be rescheduled, and that shows you, how much rain we're going to get.
Good stuff.
I was going to just ask about the president and his present.
I mean, he'll. I think it's Friday. He's going to be there on the first day. So I imagine there's finally a big security operation.
Yeah. So I was just told that we should try to get here by 5 a.m.
Wow.
Friday, and he's not supposed to come till late morning. late morning, 11:30, somewhere in there, I heard. So now again, Friday is the day that you do want to get here early. Obviously, you want to be here for that opening tee shot. It's just a scene unlike any other in golf. But that won't be till, I think, 7:30, and we're being told to get here at least 2 hours before that. So security is going to be crazy. We saw a few weeks back when the president came to the U.S. Open tennis event, how it caused a huge disruption, and actually the event didn't even start on time. So the championship match between Alcaraz and Sinner. So when he comes, a lot of stuff has to happen, and at least we're getting a little more of a heads up, I guess. But yes, if you are coming on Friday, you might as well come really, really, really early.
Alex, appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us.
Enjoy it.
You got it. Enjoy the golf. Take care, guys. Thanks for having me.
There we are. That's Alex Myers there, Golf Digest, US golf writer. The foursomes get underway Friday morning our time, just after midday. So throughout the afternoon, we'll be keeping you updated. I'm sure the boys on mid-morning on Friday will keep you updated. It's all on the Golf YouTube channel. Lots of content being created by Rupert Bell and Sean O'Brien out in New York and our team there. And we'll have regular updates, once it gets underway around midday on Friday. So still to come this afternoon, our own Max Scott, Forest supporting intrepid reporter, is headed for Seville, understandably. I'll be telling you the weird and wonderful story of how I was there when Forest last played in Europe in 1996. And James Taylor will join us, not the singer, but the former England selector and batsman, because the Ashes squad was picked yesterday, and there's some very
great if it was the wrong one.
Interesting. Well, he's seen fire and he's seen rain.
That's true.
At the Gabba. Hopefully not. Anyway, James is going to join us to talk about the squad, give us his take on that and the Palace Challenge, and lots more besides, all to come.
Yes, with the time just after 3 o'clock, here's Ben Fletcher with the sport.
talkSPORT Sports Update, powered by the Nissan Van Range. Supporting van owners to get the job done. Search Nissan Vans or head to your local Nissan Van Centre.
Rather like the One's 2001 single, Andy, that was absolutely flawless. Hours ahead of Forest's first European outing in 30 years, Captain Ryan Yates has this message for the fans.
Absolutely go out there and enjoy it, and yeah, feel free to dream, because we'll hopefully be bringing that to the pitch. They've been through many highs and lows over the past sort of 15-20 years.
Ange Postecoglou admits a European adventure was one of the big draws of taking this job on.
Memorable experiences. It's the same as a player and as a coach. Winning away in Europe is tough, but if you can manage that, it always remains in the memory as something special. So, hugely looking forward to this campaign.
Forest's trip to Real Betis is live over on talkSPORT 2. Here on talkSPORT, Arsenal make the journey to Port Vale in the League Cup. The build-up gets underway at 7. Now, an unforced error by David Moyes, according to some, for rotating his Everton squad and going out of the Carabao Cup at the hands of Wolves. talkSPORT's Danny Murphy admits he's surprised by the Toffees manager.
Cup competitions for Everton is their only chance, isn't it, of course, and getting something, and they're already out of 1. And Wolves, lack of confidence, lost 5 on the spin. You've beaten them already a couple of weeks ago. Just let the front lads go and cause havoc again. So I can't go against the Everton fans complaining, because I get it.
Next up for Everton, West Ham at home on Monday night, live and exclusively on talkSPORT. Finally, Katie Bolter's through to round 2 of the China Open following a 3-set win over Hayley Baptiste. She'll now face Amanda Anamnisova. Plenty more at talksport.com.
talkSPORT News.
A man's been arrested over a cyber attack that affected Heathrow and other major European airports, and the Home Office is looking into claims taxis are being used to take asylum seekers to hospital appointments. There'll be more from the news team at past.
talkSPORT weather with QuickFit. Come rain or shine, wherever and whenever suits you with our mobile tyre fitting service. Now that will have you driving away happy every time. Conditions apply.
Breezy in the far southeast and the northwest. Otherwise, a dry afternoon in store with sunny spells.
I hope you enjoyed Andy's little intro there into the news.
Yes, first time in 26 years.
Yeah, well, probably not the first time. I just went off to use the facilities. I got back, but he got really keyed up to do it.
Yeah.
But it always reminds me, when Andy's left in these situations, it reminds me of Father Ted when Dougal did a funeral. If you know that scene, you know exactly what I mean. So
you must read my new book, How Not to Present a Radio Show.
First ever show we did together, it was on they had an internet-only station on that would have been Talk Radio, wouldn't it? Not Talk Sport.
Long time ago.
And I said, I'll write an intro, because he just, like I still do, gets us 4 lines into the show. There's the menu, and then we're off. Nothing else is scripted, as you can probably tell.
Yes.
But Annie said, you don't need to do that, we'll be fine. So I said, okay, I won't bother. So I do my bit, and then Andy completely fluffs his bit, and he says, yeah, maybe we should have a script after. So here we are. That's why we still do.
I never claimed to be any good. Anyway, I see that FIFA want to expand the World Cup to 64 teams.
Oh, goodness.
Has there ever been a poorer custodian of a sport than Gianni Infantino? It's disgusting.
I would have thought there was one before him who was worse, but I'm not so sure anymore.
It's so
worse than Blatter.
Nakedly about money, nakedly about votes, to keep in power. It's disgusting. It just waters the whole thing. Who can be bothered with that? All those games. There'll be far too many games. It'll just ruin it.
We'll have to open talkSPORT 3 to accommodate it.
Honestly.
Anyway, we're going to hear from Wayne Rooney. We'll come back. We've got some other stuff to run past you and some good emails and stuff. The former Manchester United England legend Wayne Rooney, not the plumber, has been speaking to his former teammate on the Rio Ferdinand Presents YouTube show. He believes a certain former Spurs striker is the greatest English striker of all time.
Wow.
He's a clever lad, Harry, and
He knows he's never been the quickest, but I think he's lost a little bit of sharpness. Now he scored, how many goals he scored last season for Bayern? He's a goal scorer, he's clinical, but he's clever in terms of the positions he's picking up, and it's allowing. I watched Bayern Munich in the Club World Cup, and then it was almost like Totti for Roma, where you drop in and then there's runners off him, but gradually as the ball got further forward and they might come back out and went back around the other side, he then makes his way in the box. So it's not a sprint, but he's in there and he's in the round there, and if he gets a chance, he scores. For me, he's the greatest ever England number 9. Player, I'm not sure. I think I could do things which potentially he couldn't. I was nastier than him as well. But in terms of goal scorer, he creates goals. You watching people say like, "Oh, he scored against San Marino or this team," or he scores every game. And does he play well all the time? No. But for me, he's above everyone.
Rio will be on breakfast on Friday with the guys, and the full interview with Rio and Wayne will be available on Rio Ferdinand Presents on YouTube at 4 p.m. this afternoon. It always goes back to that. I mean, like Wayne Rooney said that he wasn't the quickest. I mean, he hasn't, but I think he made himself quicker. He really, really worked at it.
You can't even quantify. You know, I hate all that. Is he the greatest of all?
I know.
Personally, I think it was Jimmy Greaves, but then I can't prove that. You know, so
it's very difficult to quantify.
Absolutely, you can't quantify it. But fair enough. It's what people like to talk about. I don't know if you know this, but Rembrandt, changing the subject.
Oh, yeah. Is he coming in?
He is, actually. Yeah, he's a guest on Breakfast on Friday.
Oh, okay. What, him and Rio?
Yeah,
That's a
they've
tough
got a
booking.
podcast together.
Joining us now, the old Dutch master. Is it Dennis Bergkamp? No. No, please, come on.
Thyssen and Muren.
I used to love Rembrandt, says Ray.
Yes, he did. His famous Night Watch painting.
Oh, yeah.
Was inspired by Van der Ven, apparently.
Van der Ven?
That's what it says in the paper this morning. One of the quickest painters in history.
Yeah.
Sensational.
He could knock you up.
He kept putting his.
He could knock you up a masterpiece in about 35 minutes. That's good, yeah.
I know, I thought you'd like that. Good.
I do like that.
Yes.
We asked you earlier on, Hugo Ekitike made a ridiculous error last night. He must still be thinking, why did I do that? He took his shirt off, got a second yellow. He's upset his manager, Arne Slot.
He apologised.
We were asking you about those why did I do that moments. What's this one? They haven't put a name on it. I stood naked in my wardrobe as possible new tenants were shown around a flat I was renting. It still makes me think, why did I do that? I woke up to hear voices downstairs, and rather than saying, don't come in, I got out of bed and just was too embarrassed. So just ran and hid in the wardrobe. Imagine if they'd said, it's a lovely walk-in wardrobe.
Have a look at this wardrobe.
There's this bloke in the back. I've got a great example. I've got a mate. I'll spare his blushes. But I've got a mate who is such a nice bloke. He had a company car, and he was going to lose the company car when he changed jobs, and he had to go and buy a car. So he may well be listening this afternoon. So he went off to a car dealership and looked at a possible car. And the guy, the question you always get, have you got a car to sell? And rather than saying no, which he didn't, of course, because he was handing his company car back, he said, yes.
Why?
And at that point, he didn't feel confident enough to say, I mean no, because he'd make himself look like an idiot. So the guy said, oh, great, where is it? He said, oh, it's just outside in your car park. So bloke went round with the old notepad, kicking the tyres, doing the fourth on a company car that he was going to have to hand back about 2 weeks later.
Dear.
But sometimes you just do these things and you're kind of in too deep, aren't you?
Yeah, you can't admit it. You get stuck. Yeah. It's very true. Yeah. Brooklyn Beckham will be playing in a Pro-Am before the Ryder Cup. Golf.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Next thing, he'll be giving golf lessons on TikTok.
Yeah,
saying, I'm going to be a professional.
Is he a good golfer?
Well,
I mean, if he's playing in a Pro-Am.
If he's playing in a Pro-Am at that company, I'd imagine he can play.
Yeah. Good.
Embarrassing if he can't.
We'll look out for him.
Good. What have we got here? Well, I've got a couple of letters.
Yes.
I'm a bit fed up with Brian Linford, though.
Yeah, well, I mean,
not only that,
it's the Brian Linford backlash. Remember them on the old grey whistle
great,
test?
The Brian Linford backlash.
They were good, weren't they? It was like
the thing
jazz,
is,
jazz
the
rock.
Star now, they've taken to. There are 2 letters from Brian Linford today. One's just called Brian.
Okay.
I can tell by the style of it with all the capitals.
Yeah, they're not fooling anybody.
It's the same style.
Yeah.
I'll read just the one from Brian because it's by It's about Boris Becker, who's on Breakfast.
He was on Breakfast, yeah. This is Brian, who writes in occasional capital letters, so Andy shouts them, and with no punctuation. But Andy is slightly obsessed with him.
It's mad. Boris, well, he shouts it because it's capitals. Boris Becker was in Wandsworth Prison in April 2022, guilty of bankruptcy offences during the initial weeks of his sentence, describing harsh conditions. He watched BBC Breakfast and ITV Lorraine.
That is harsh.
And Shepherd, /
Do they make them do that? Is that like being in solitary? Sorry, Lorraine.
I like Lorraine. Ben Shepherd / Kate Garraway.
Oh, we like Ben, yeah.
And no swimming. Why that is in capitals, I've no idea. Deported to Germany in December 22. You wonder what prompted ultimate request for deportation, his Wandsworth experience of Breakfast TV?
Imagine if you're in Wandsworth and you're like, they put loose women on. You must be thinking, well, if that's what they think of men, I'm better off in here. Really?
And Cole Palmer, did you see this?
Yeah, he's not in Wandsworth Prison.
No, he certainly isn't.
Oh, that's good. Let's just make that very clear. No segue involved.
No segue at all.
Yeah.
A posh French vineyard, according to The Sun, is toasting victory over Cole Palmer after giving his plans for a wine range with a similar name, The Boot. Chateau Palmer opposed the Ace's bid to flog Plonk under his Cole Palmer nickname. I think if I was going to see the two bottles of wine, one was Chateau Palmer, the other was Cold Palmer, I'd probably buy the Chateau Palmer.
Would you?
Well, I think so.
Wayne might do a nice range of wine. Not Wayne, who's Wayne? That's Wayne Rooney. Cole.
Wine Rooney is called.
There's your headline.
Thank you very much. But a bottle of Cru Classé Margaux from 1970 is priced at £750. I don't know why.
What's that got to do with
nothing at all. It was in the end of this report. Cole is not known to be a wine connoisseur. But he did pretend to drink a lager thrown on the pitch last season. What's that got to do with anything?
Bit of a filler. That sounds like a bit of a filler, Andy. Anyway, James Taylor joins us, former England cricketer and selector. Yep. We have the Ashes squad. It was announced yesterday. Exciting. Yeah, it's not long, is it? About a month or so. Couple of months, isn't it? So, we're gonna have a look at that. The winners and losers, one or two that maybe you would have expected that haven't made it, and some big calls around the vice captain. So, James Taylor joining us very shortly. And Max Scott, we're going to head to Seville. Betis Forest tonight, live on talkSPORT 2. Big night for the Forest fans. And I say, I will tell you how I managed to be there on the last time Forest played in Europe all those years ago against Bayern Munich at the City Ground. But anyway, that's all coming up. I'm here. Well, I say I'm here. So's Andy. I've become Trevor Brooking. I say I'm here. With Tool Station. Stay one step. Andy's here with Cole Palmer wines. Stay one step ahead, whatever the job. Next stop, Tool Station.
EV Lover on talkSPORT with Arnold Clark Charge. Ultra-rapid EV charging at an ultra-low price. Find out more at arnoldclark.com.
Now, thanks to Arnold Clark Charge, we've got an electrifying cash prize to give away today. We've also got a place in our grand final in Glasgow next month up for grabs, where one lucky winner will take away an MG S5 electric car. Fantastic prize. Joining us now, randomly selected from all our online entries, is Martin. Hi, Martin.
Hi, how you going?
Yeah, who's your team, Martin? Who do you support?
Oh, the bad one. It's not good this season. I'm Rotherham United.
Rotherham. Oh, look.
I have to do a Mellor on that one.
You're going to have to do it. I see you are currently. Is it not going too well at the moment, Martin? No?
No, it's not going well. We're about 21st in league.
You could win enough money to buy him a star striker if you're on it today. So let's find out. Although I imagine that'd be
we
more.
need about 6 star strikers.
Yeah.
Mine won't.
Oh dear.
So you've got 60 seconds on the clock to answer as many questions about sporting speed and power as you can. For every correct answer, you'll earn yourself a point and £100. If you're allowed to pass if you don't know the answer, Martin, but we can only accept your first response. And if you're our top point scorer at the end of the week, along with the cash, you'll also win a place in the grand final in Glasgow where you could win that MGS5 electric car. So are you all ready to rock, Martin? Ready to go?
I'm ready. Off you go. Yeah, when you're ready.
Okay, best of luck to you. Your time starts now. Which darts player has the nickname The Power?
Taylor.
Yeah, okay. Which American gymnast has won 11 Olympic and 30 World Championship medals, making her the most decorated gymnast in history?
Simone Biles.
That's right. Which Spurs midfielder was awarded the fastest yellow card in Premier League history when he was booked after just 14 seconds last year? You want to Okay, all right. In golf, Max Homa hit a powerful 477-yard drive in Kapalua whilst competing in the PGA Tour. In which US island state can Kapalua be found?
Hawaii.
Yes, well done. The Oklahoma City Thunder compete in which sport?
Ice hockey.
No, basketball. Which legendary All Black is tied with Brian Habana for most tries scored at Rugby World Cup final tournaments? A great All Black we're looking for.
Pass.
Ah, okay. Well, that was Jonah Lomu. The other one was Yves Bissouma, which was quite difficult. And we said the Oklahoma Thunder play in the NBA. But you have won 300 quid.
Oh, well.
So that's not so bad, not a bad afternoon's work. Have you thought about what you might do with it, Martin?
No, not really.
Okay.
Something. I don't know yet.
Fantastic. Well, you just...
towards a bike.
Why?
Towards a bike.
Yes, put it towards a bike. That's a very good idea. So, congratulations, Martin. You won £300. I don't think that is going to be the highest this week. I think we had 400 yesterday. So... that might be the extent of it, but thank you very much for playing. Good luck to Rotherham for the rest of the season. Thanks, Martin.
Thanks, we need it.
Yeah. So there we are. It won't be Martin going to the grand final in Glasgow winning the MGS5 electric car. If you'd like to win some cash and think you can beat the top score, I think, which is 4 so far this week, go to talksport.com/win. That's talksport.com/win. They'll be playing in Drive next week for even more chances to win. All thanks to Arnold Clark Charge. Ultra rapid EV charging at just 55 pence per kilowatt hour. Find out more at arnoldclark.com.
EV Lover on talkSPORT with Arnold Clark Charge for your chance to win a new MGS5. Enter online now at talksport.com/win.
We got the Ashes squad last night. There's some interesting stuff going on. A change of vice captain. 1 or 2 omissions from Andy's point of view. Let's get the thoughts of a former England batsman and selector, James Taylor. Hi, James.
Hi, guys. Good to see you.
Good to see you again. Yeah. So,
plenty to be excited about, but
there is
some controversy. I think.
Andy, what vexes you? Tell me.
Well, I really wanted Rayan Ahmed to be in the squad. I don't understand. Will Jacks for me is a very good white ball player, but I don't see what he gives you, because if you do get a spinning pitch and you want 2 spin, why do you need 3 off spinners? Is he any better than Root? So at least Rayan Ahmed would give you a different option.
Yeah, that's a great shout. I mean, me as a Leicestershire coach, having worked with Rayan very closely for the last 2 or 3 years, he's had an outstanding year, not just with the ball, but also with the bat. He scored 5 championship hundreds and been very consistent, I think averaging 20 with the ball, going at an economy of 2.6. So he adds you the control as as well as the variation with his leg spin and his googlies. He's such an exciting cricketer, very versatile cricketer, and he can bat in the top 7. And he can bowl you those overs. That is going to give you a variety to Bashir if you wanted 2 spinners, or to Root, who's the other off spinner, who I think they'll use quite wisely at times. But having said that, Will Jacks obviously himself is a very versatile cricketer, but Rahan certainly gives you something slightly different, especially at leg spinner in Australia is going to help.
Well, I mean, you've been in this situation, having to make these big calls, James. I mean, what is the thinking? Can you understand the process that's led them to this?
Maybe a little bit more experience with Will Jacks. They like off spin, and especially a tall off spinner that adds a little bit of bounce, just like Bashir. They think maybe Will Jacks is the next best option. Also, he's an outstanding fielder, and he can obviously bat in the top 7. So he's a nice option himself. I would have gone with Rahan because he's been super consistent this year, and he's very exciting, and he also contrasts what you've got with Bashir. I think they'll bowl plenty of Joe Root and back their seamers and bowl lots of Joe Root. But Rahan is also out there at the time with the Lions, so they could bring him into the squad if needed.
Yeah, that's good. The battery of fast bowlers is incredibly exciting. I mean,
if we can keep them all fit.
Well, yeah, but even if they can spell them because they've got enough, Archer doesn't have to play every game. Wood doesn't have to play every game. Josh Tongue last week bowling in that sort of county game, that climax of that county game, he really bowled quickly. He looked great. And but you do feel, James, that Stokes still has to bowl really for the balance of the team.
Yeah, without doubt. He's a vital cog in the wheel. And also the amount of overs is going to be really interesting coming back from the injuries that he's had over the last 18 months and more recently. It's going to be very interesting how many overs he can bowl in that first test match, because yes, it's a 5 test match series, but it's vital that England get up and running soon and try and get that victory under their belt, or certainly a draw early on, because we all know how hard it is as an England team when you go down under. You get put under the pump early doors, and it's hard to come back and drag the series back. If you lose that first test, second test, the pressure mounts very quickly. So England need to hit the ground running, and they desperately need their captain firing on all cylinders, as well as bowling his overs to balance the team. So I imagine they'll go in first up with Archer and Wood and Stokes, but you need to complement those bowlers with a control bowler, and that's where Wokes could be a miss, albeit he hasn't performed necessarily that well over in Australia in recent times. The control and experience, I think that's where they might be missing.
And Ollie Pope has lost the vice captaincy. That's gone to Harry Brook, and his spot is under threat, isn't it? I mean, I imagine he may start the first test, but Jacob Bethel's there. It's going to be, he's under pressure.
Yeah, I think that's very interesting what they've done with the vice captaincy, because that makes it almost easier, and it's almost a statement before the series to change the vice captaincy when they didn't necessarily need to, even though obviously Harry's a nice leader in his own right now with what he does with the white ball stuff. It kind of sets the tone that it gives them room to change. Now they've moved Ollie out of vice captain, so it wouldn't surprise me if Bethel came in at some point early on in the season, early on in the tour, if Ollie doesn't quite start so well. If not, Bethel might start.
Yeah, interesting. James, appreciate it as always. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, he can bowl a bit of left arm.
That's true, yeah. James Taylor there, the former England batsman and selector. Our thanks to him. Yep, gets underway in November. And, should be fantastic, shouldn't it? Looking forward to that. We got a Paddy's challenge coming up with Ben Fletcher's going to pop back. Then we're off to Seville. We've sent our intrepid Forest supporting reporter Max Scott out there for a huge night for Forest fans. It's been a long time since they were in Europe. They take on Real Betis tonight, Anthony and all. And we'll be getting the mood out there ahead of tonight's match with Max. But we'll get the news headlines next.
and Kane's ambition to break the Premier League scoring record.
Harry Kane, when he was at Spurs, was absolutely desperate to win something with Spurs, a trophy with Spurs. Now, he's left, they've won a trophy, but if he wants to go back and win a trophy, I think that's one thing he'd love to tick off.
Tottenham host Doncaster in the Carabao Cup tonight. We've got Arsenal's trip to Port Vale live on talkSPORT from 7. Following last night's action, Danny Murphy's called this from Arne Slot refreshing.
Needless, not smart, you call it stupid. I call it stupid, by the way, as well.
Slot's annoyed with Ekitike's second yellow for taking his shirt off, celebrating his winner against Southampton. He'll now miss the Palace game. Danny was asked if Ekitike was responding to Isak's arrival at Liverpool.
I felt that way. Like, I'll show you, look, here's my shirt, here's my name, it's about me.
And Boris Becker's told talkSPORT his sporting mentality helped him get through time in jail.
I was most comfortable in the fifth set. I was most comfortable in a tie break. You know, when the going got tough, I thought that I was okay with it. And I think that mentality of surviving a difficult moment on the court, I think helped me a lot in prison.
You can watch the full interview with Boris Becker on the talkSPORT YouTube channel.
Challenge on talkSPORT with Hawksbee Jacobs. What critics are calling one of the many radio quiz segments happening this week. Paddy Power. 18 plus BeGambleAware.org.
Time once again for Paddy's Challenge, our quiz for charity in association with our friends and official betting partner, Paddy Power. In Paddy's Challenge, we put our knowledge of the wonderful world of sports to the test with a chance of raising lots of cash for our nominated charities. I'm playing for the Sporting Memories Network. Andy is raising funds for Duchenne UK. Helping to manage proceedings is the weekend king of overnights, Ben Fletcher. Good afternoon again, Fletch.
Very good afternoon. Back on air this Saturday morning, 1 till 5, but more on that later.
Yeah.
In Paddy's Challenge, you'll each be asked 3 multiple-choice questions posed by the voice of Paddy Power, Alistair McGowan. The winner will be the player that scores the most points. In the event of a tie, you'll both win the chance to raise some cash for your charities. It was a draw last week, and you both had bets on the Champions League game between Liverpool and Atletico Madrid, which ended in a 3-2 win for the Reds. Paul, you backed Florian Wirtz to score or assist, which he didn't. And Andy had Alexander Isak to have 1 or more shots on target, which he did. So that's £15.71 added to the Duchenne pot. Let's see if we can raise some more cash for your charities this week. Lady Luck must be shining upon Andy because the virtual coin toss has determined that he is going first this week. So if our highly remunerated technical team are ready with the tension bed, look at that, right on cue. That is production.
Yeah.
That is production.
It is.
Here comes your first question.
Pep Guardiola may have celebrated a bit too early after Manchester City's draw at Arsenal when he was involved in a bizarre moment on the touchline. What did Guardiola do? A. Tried to kiss the fourth official. B. Ran down the sidelines waving a scarf. Or C. Busted some dance moves.
It's kissing.
He actually did kiss.
Walked to his usual position.
Oh, okay.
Right, smacker.
That's a visit to the HR department.
So they dance for a while?
Yep. Indeed. Paul, here's question 1.
Yeah.
Marcus Rashford fell foul of Barcelona boss Hansi Flick's strict rules on being eligible to play last weekend when he was late to practice and was duly benched. 2 other big Barca names have recently suffered the same fate. Jules Koundé is one, but who is the other? A. Ferran Torres. B. Frankie de Jong. Or C. Rafinha.
I think it was Rafinha, wasn't it?
1 point to Paul.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
Tough question.
Remember that in the back of my mind.
In Rashford's absence, former City star Ferran Torres scored the first two of Barca's 3 goals. Rashford did take the shine off the bench to set up Barca's third, though. So all's well that ends well, it says here. Andy, your second question, chance to double your lead.
Wayne Rooney recently revealed why he thinks Manchester United were so successful in his playing days there. What did Rooney say made all the difference? A. Team play on a portable PlayStation. B. Sir Alex Ferguson's managerial expertise. Or C. A competitive spirit between the players.
I've absolutely no idea. I'll go with the obvious of Alex Ferguson.
Oh dear, oh dear.
Computer games.
It was.
Oh, was it?
It was a portable PlayStation. Rooney said, I really believe a big part of our success was playing the PSP on the team bus, said Rooney, who won 5 Premier League titles and a Champions League under Sir Alex Ferguson. Okay. So, Paul, an opportunity for you to take the lead. Here comes question number 2.
Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta made history with his side's dramatic draw against Manchester City last Sunday. He is now the first manager to have gone how many league matches in a row without losing against Pep Guardiola? A. 4, B. 5, or C. 6?
Do you know this, Andy?
I don't know.
5.
Yeah.
It's that
middle solves
again,
the
isn't
riddle.
It? Yeah, it does solve the riddle indeed. Dating back to October 2023, Arsenal have won twice and drawn 3 times against City in their last 5 meetings. So, Andy. Big trouble, yeah. Here comes your third and final question.
Which mascot was first over the line at the T20 Blast Finals Day mascot race? A. Northants' Steeler the Dog. B. Hampshire's Harry the Hawk. Or C. Lancashire's Lanky the Giraffe.
I'm going to go with, I think he's done quite well in the past, Lanky.
Oh, no, Andy.
Oh dear, oh dear.
It was Northants' Steeler the Dog.
How do you know that?
Because it was a question for Charlie yesterday in Paddy's pick.
Oh, fine.
But, give him a chance. How's he going to know Steeler the Dog, the Northants mascot? He didn't. I had to cheat it for him, really.
First to finish after Harry the Hawk stopped right before the line.
Sorry, that's a very poor effort.
talkSPORT ever had a mascot? I know we've had the odd guide dog.
Talkie, and it could be Torquay United, couldn't it? Torquay, what would he be called? The talkSPORT.
Torquay the Turkey.
Yeah.
Torquay the Turkey. So he's a turkey.
Turkey's
black and yellow outfit.
Yeah, that's right.
Not Management Max waving around his passport.
It'd be a turkey in black and yellow outfit.
Management Max waving around his passport.
It would be.
So I've never known somebody on 20.5 grand a year to have so many holidays. Good luck wherever you are, Max. Hope you're enjoying the sunshine.
It's a turkey in a black suit with a white roll neck, so it looks like Simon Jordan and a pair of glasses.
That's a really good idea.
Just in time for Christmas. Yeah. We love forced fun on this station, so let's play out your third and final question and see if we can make it a clean sweep.
Yeah.
Harry Kane received an hilarious apology from the German media after scoring his 2nd hat-trick of the season and his 5th goal in a week. How many goals has he scored in his past 4 Bundesliga games? A. 8, B. 9, or C. 7?
8.
3 out of 3, back of the net.
Hot form
Bravo.
today. Well played.
Absolutely right. Many German pundits doubted Kane was worth the club record €100 million fee that Bayern paid for him back in 2023, but they're firm believers in hat-trick Harry now.
Probably Uli Hoeneß. He doesn't believe in anything.
Yeah. Is he coming back to Spurs in the summer, Paul?
Well, I'd like to think so. If you can swing that for us.
Congratulations to you, Paul. You're today's winner. You've won a free £20 bet that Paddy Power will place for you, so you can try and win some cash for your charity. Just remains for me to ask, what are you going to go for?
I think Saka will play tonight because he needs a bit of game time. He probably won't play at all, but he'll play enough to get a goal or assist at any time against Port Vale, I'd say.
Well, let's see how you get on and reveal the winners next week.
Thank you very much, Fletch. And you're back 1 a.m.
1 a.m. on Saturday, unless the well-resourced Human Resources Department here have anything to do about it. We'll be doing the usual, looking ahead, looking back. Going back to Lanzarote, the team we've adopted this season down in the Spanish lower tier. Big win for them.
And Ryder Cup chat, of course.
Ryder Cup chat, of course. Yeah, we'll be going over to Bethpage Brook with Rupert Bell, among others. Yeah, loads going on.
Brilliant. Excellent. Thank you, Fletch. So there we are. That was Paddy's Challenge. Thanks to our friends at Paddy Power. 18 plus begambleaware.org.
Paddy's Challenge on talkSPORT with Paddy Power. 18 plus begambleaware.org.
Coming up next, we head for Seville. Nottingham Forest are back in Europe for the first time since 1996. and our own Max Scott, Forest supporting talkSPORT reporter, has gone out there. So we'll be catching up with Max, building up to kick-off. It's live on talkSPORT 2 tonight. That's coming up shortly. We're here with Toolstation, standing behind every single tradesperson in Britain. Next stop, Toolstation.
Robertson, the first time we've seen them attack them, and there's Francis! Trevor Francis, the million-pound man, puts his name on the score sheet.
European football returned to this great cathedral of football.
We're not just there to take part in. We want to compete, we want to do really well, we want to take the game to whoever we're playing. Of course, it's going to be a tough test, but one we're extremely excited for and want to do well in.
Ange Postecoglou has just been confirmed by Nottingham Forest as their new head coach.
He told you he always wins something, and he's done it.
I don't have to prove anything to anyone.
It'll bring back so many memories for everybody.
Nottingham Forest defend their European Cup title.
And it'd be lovely for the new generation to experience those European nights.
Don't ever let people stop you dreaming from, what could be an incredible season for us.
It just shows you if you get things right, it is possible, to compete.
This is dream stuff.
I'm expecting Forest to go from strength to strength.
That's what I want to do. I want to win trophies. That's what I've done my whole career, and that's what I want to try and do here.
40-odd years after that European Cup final, special times are back.
Yes, and 29 years since they were last in Europe. I didn't realise that was the last game. And I was there, as Max Boyce used to say. I'll explain in what circumstances once we've set the scene with our resident Forest fan and reporter over in Seville for tonight's game between Betis and Forest, live on talkSPORT 2. Max Scott joins us. Hey, Max.
I'm doing well, thank you, fellas. It's 31 daggers here in Seville. It's been a long journey up early this morning, about 3 a.m. I flew to Faro to avoid the old surge pricing for the plane tickets. 80 quid return, so a good little deal. And just settled in here with all the fans. Lots of flags, lots of anti-Derby chants, as you can imagine, because they're nowhere near Europe. But it's just one of those sort of historic moments. I mean, this is the stuff that there is a generation of fans that have literally been dreaming of it. Yeah. I mean, I think the word generational is probably thrown around a little bit too much these days around a generational talent. But this really is a generational moment for a fan base that have been, used to mediocrity, League One, Championship. So, yeah, special occasion, fellas.
Yeah, great moment for you.
Were you born last time Forest were in Europe?
Yeah. Yeah, so I would have been 4 years old when Forest lost in the quarter-final of the UEFA Cup to Bayern Munich. So, it's been a long time coming, fellas. If you'd have told me back in 2007, when Forest lost against Yeovil 5-2 in the second leg of the League One playoff semi-final and got kicked out, that I'd be here, then, it's a crazy feeling.
I was at that game against Bayern Munich all those years ago when you lost 5-1 in fairly bizarre circumstances. I was working on 90 Minutes magazine, and in the same building was the NME, and we knew some of the NME guys. And Paul McGregor and Scott Gemmell, a couple of indie kids, reached out and said, any chance you can get us some ticket for the NME Brat Awards? And I said, yeah, I'm sure. I went and had a chat with Steve Sutherland.
2 Forest players at the time.
Guys, and, Forest players they were at the time. And because I think Paul was in a band. He was in a bit of an indie kid, So I sorted out the tickets, and they said, if you ever want tickets for Forest, let me know. So I thought, Jurgen Klinsmann back over here playing. I'll go and see him in action. So I went up for the match. It didn't go well that night, sadly. It was a bit of a crushing 5. They were brilliant, actually, Bayern. They were very good. But, strangely, I was there the last time you were in Europe. Very odd. But I take it you've not watched that back. It's not a great memory, is it?
No, I'm not sort of familiar with that particular fixture. But the fact that it's taken 30 years, I think you really get that sense here. I mean, everywhere I look, I've only seen a few Betis shirts, and it is early doors. But everywhere I look, Forest flags, St George's flags with NFFC. I mean, I can literally see hundreds and hundreds of fans already. And I think the fact that it's been so long just demonstrates how much it means to this fan base. And we're, of course, incredibly excited to see what happens against a side that's used to European football.
It's a very familiar team, isn't it? I mean, you look at the players, sort of Bellerin, Firpo, Anthony.
All right, though. We played them in the conference final. They were all right. They were all right in the first half, but in the end, a bit cold bomb.
But it's not, it's not fear of the unknown. You'll know a lot of those guys from the Premier League, won't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And when I spoke to Ryan Yates on Monday, just before the squad flew out, he was very honest and said, look, as players, we actually don't know much about the opposition. But one thing he did say is that Ange Postecoglou's experience of playing in Europe, obviously winning it with your boys Spurs last season, has really come through and, seems to feel that the squad is very prepared for this. And I just sort of wonder, I don't know what you think, fellas, I just sort of wonder if this is the sort of football that might benefit Nottingham Forest. European football, it might just sort of be more welcoming of Ange Postecoglou's style of football, maybe in the Premier League. So, exciting to see how it all pans out.
It's difficult to tell, really, because he basically went all parked the bus when it got to Europe. When it got to the business end of Europe, he kind of he would argue he didn't throw his principles aside, but they weren't Ange ball front foot. They got to that final and won that final, playing pretty attritional football. So it'd be interesting. I mean, I don't think at this stage of the competition he will. Having said that, though, Max, a draw tonight in Betis wouldn't be the worst result, would it?
I mean, going from a draw away at Burnley to a draw away at Betis would be absolutely brilliant. And of course, you know, I think as has been the case since Forest returned to the Premier League, their home form's going to be absolutely massive. And so I think if Forest are going to go far in this tournament, it's because they're going to do well at the City Ground under the lights Thursday nights. And so, yeah, I think, of course, we take anything here, even just, a strong performance. You know, we're really looking to get the Ange Postecoglou era underway. We're still waiting for that statement performance. And I think, you know, a point would be absolutely brilliant.
One of the problems, though, I think, is by getting rid of a popular manager in Nuno, a successful manager, it puts a lot of pressure on Ange. Normally, when a manager gets the sack, everybody's delighted in the club, the fans, because he's probably run out of ideas. This wasn't the case here, so he's under pressure, I think.
He needs a couple of, I think Andy's right, Max. He needs a couple of big statement performances, doesn't he?
Absolutely. And also, Ange Postecoglou's the sort of manager where he's already under pressure, because the vast majority of people have already made their mind up about him. You know, they've made their mind up about him being a manager that plays only one particular way, that is stubborn, that doesn't change his ideas. And so there's already there's already a lot of pressure on him, should I say. But again, interestingly, speaking to Ryan Yates about it, one thing that struck me that he said was actually a lot of the focus in training has been about the defence. It's been about how we defend as a team and tracking back and having a balanced defence. So quite, I think, refreshing particularly for Forest fans to hear, who may be worried that what Nuno's built might be stripped away quite quickly. So I think tonight, again, will be another really good barometer of how the adaptation is going.
What was Forest allocation tonight, and how many more people you think have travelled without tickets just to have a bit of a party and to be in Seville?
Yeah, no, I think ultimately there are far more fans here than there is allocation.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I've already bumped into quite a lot of people that have told me we've got tickets in the home end. And so I think it's going to be one of those situations where it's going to be a developing story. I'm sort of accredited, so I'm in the sort of the press area. So I'll be able to sort of tell you tomorrow, fellas, sort of how that all plays out. But I can already see more fans than I think the allocation.
You've got to behave yourself in the press seats. You can't be jumping up singing Forest songs, Max. You'll get us kicked off the UEFA list.
Yeah, no, don't worry. I'm on my best behaviour. Let me tell you, I'm with some friends who absolutely are not. But I've been I've been looking after myself, and looking forward to sort of reporting on what is a massive occasion for the club. First European football in 30 years for the rest of the day. So yeah.
Brilliant.
Stay tuned.
Have a great night. Enjoy it. I hope you get a result. Thanks very much.
Cheers, fellas.
Max Scott there out in Seville. Real Betis versus Nottingham Forest, live tonight on talkSPORT 2. Over on talkSPORT, Adrian Durham, Sam Matterface and Stuart Pearce will bring you Port Vale versus Arsenal. We had a chat with Port Vale manager Darren Moore yesterday. They've had a couple of decent results after a tough start in the league, but they've done very well in the Carabao Cup so far. So should be an interesting game, and Arsenal will be putting out, I'm sure, some of their big hitters amongst some of the kids. So tune in for that one, 8 o'clock at that match. I think that's us, Andy, isn't it?
That is, yeah.
Andy, back on Friday. We will have all manner of stuff going on, I would imagine, building up to another big weekend.
Yeah, a lot of Ryder Cup stuff as well.
Oh, yeah, and the Ryder Cup will be underway during our show, so we're very excited about that. Until then, thanks for listening, and coming up next, it's Andy Goldstein and Darren Bent with Drive.